quickly. Chris Temple, Watford Luton, full-time.
Full-time, 4-0 to Watford. Keenan Davis with a goal and 2 assists was a Derby Day colossus for them. He scored a brilliant first, made the second for Trusticong, and the third for João Pedro. Ismail Assar got the fourth. Luton's unravelling was completed by a silly red card for Gabriel Osho. The only negative for Watford, a thigh injury to Keenan Davis in the second half. But the M1 derby was one-way traffic. Watford 4, Luton 0.
And one-way traffic for the South Wales derby as well. Carl Roberts.
Absolutely. Swansea City 2, Cardiff 0. A hat-trick of derby wins for Swansea. They strolled to victory. They were given a boost after 7 minutes. Callum Robinson sent off for Cardiff. Goals in each half. One from Ollie Cooper, one from Michael Obafemi. He should have had a hat-trick. Swansea up to 4th. Cardiff heading down the M4.
Thanks very much, Carl. Ellen Ellard. Arsenal beating Liverpool in the WSL.
Yeah, full-time, Liverpool 0, Arsenal 2. The visitors absolutely dominant. All the action, though, in the first half. Leah Walty and Frida Marnham on the score sheet. Even without some key names in defence, Arsenal looked strong and structured. Lotta Wubben-Moy stepping up to great effect. Liverpool had some good moments, but just lacked the leg speed and composure to capitalise them. Manuela Zinsberger extends her WSL clean sheet record. Arsenal go top, and they are certainly looking like the team to beat this season.
Thanks, Ellen. Your work is done. Nedum, Anua, thank you. You too, Karen Bardsley.
Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure.
All that talking, and your work is about to start. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Steve Sidwell, full commentary. Southampton against Arsenal, take it away.
Thank you, Juliet. Cracking pre-match atmospheres everywhere. 4 Premier League games kicking off at 2 o'clock this afternoon here at the St Mary's Stadium. Is your commentary game on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The league leaders are in town. Southampton's top scorer, Shay Adams, is on the bench. The only reason I mention that, there's a fella on our right who's just arrived to watch the game. He used to score a lot of goals for Southampton, who goes by the name of James Beattie. And Steve said, well, I was getting a very slight sense of deja vu in the build-up there, because this time last week, I was getting ready for Arsenal league leaders to be tested away from home by Leeds, which they were. And also, 10 minutes before kickoff, we were having a right old debate about Cristiano Ronaldo, his form, his behaviour and his standing in the game. So here we are again. This promises to be a really good game of football, I think.
Oh, really good atmosphere down at St Mary's. They've really built it up. I think it's just driving this team to come out the traps. It's going to be really interesting to see if they really come out on the front foot, or they just be disciplined and sit for the first 5-10 minutes or so.
Referee Robert Jones in his light blue short sleeve shirt checks the watch, blows the whistle, away we go. So Arsenal, the league leaders, start today having played a game less than Manchester City, who beat Brighton 3-1 yesterday. If they can win this one, Arsenal, and make it a quite remarkable 10 wins in their first 11 Premier League games this season, they will re-establish a 4-point lead at the top of the table. They're in changed kit. They're in sort of black and gold. The kit is black. The writing, the numbers, the trim is gold, and they are defending the goal away to our right-hand side, which the thousands of Arsenal fans are stationed behind. That is away in that Northam stand away to our right. They're unchanged from their last Premier League outing, which was that 1-0 win at Ellen Road, which you heard on 5 Live last week. 3 changes for Southampton. I'll bring you them in a second. Martinelli plays in Jesus, who shoots straight at Bazunu, blocks at the near post, and then the offside flag goes up. I did wonder when Martinelli played the ball through, but as is the way nowadays, you let the play out, and Bazunu did make the save. Steve Sidwell.
Arsenal got in really easy there, isn't it? Martinelli, who's been a real bright spark so far this season, just slipped in Jesus. A lovely time pass. He was offside, a good 2 yards offside, Jesus, but warning signs are there already for Southampton. Interesting to see. We didn't know how they was going to start Southampton, whether it was be a back 3 or a back 4.
Yeah.
It looks as though it's going to be a 4-4-2 formation for Southampton.
Okay, we'll give you the 2 team lineups then in just a second. They have a free kick, Southampton. They're in pretty much all white shirts. They've got a sort of bold red stripe down the middle of the front, black shorts, red stripes down the side, white socks, and they play from left to right in the first half. So you've got the picture of what it looks like. The sun is shining, the atmosphere's good, and Ben White is looking for Bukayo Saka to try and get onto a ball down the inside right channel. Great defending from Salisu. Saw Saka coming, used his strength to hold him off, was able to turn and clear. Southampton then try and bring the ball out from the back. Perrault is stopped by Thomas Partey. Partey stumbles, but is able to complete his pass, and across it comes here to Tomiyasu. So Tomiyasu continues at left back. Kieran Tierney on the bench, who did start against PSV in midweek, and no sign of Alexander Zinchenko as yet, although as Mikel Arteta said in his pre-match press conference ahead of this game, I don't think he's too far away, Zinchenko. Long ball downfield from Bazunu, the Southampton keeper, collected by Ramsdale, closed down by Adam Armstrong, Southampton's number 9. Ramsdale clears with his right foot, so we got Lianco, the Brazilian, into the team, making a first Premier League start of the season, who is starting, Steve, as right back, as you say. So Southampton's back four is Lianco, Chaleta Sarr and Salisu, and then Perrault on the left.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match up there, one to watch, definitely. This left-hand channel for Martinelli. You know, he's got blistering pace, very sharp, explosive. He's going to be looking to test Lianco early doors in this game for sure.
2 o'clock kickoff's underway. Goal at Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
To Aston Villa, fine goal from Liam Bailey. Instant left foot shot from Danny Ings' cross from 15 yards. He's been in good form lately, Bailey, unlike many of the Villa players, and that's a deserved goal. At the moment, it's Villa 1, Brentford 0, but hold hard, Alistair. Referee Darren England is wondering, and he's surprised by a few players. I'll get back to you in about 40 minutes' time.
Potential VAR check then. Leon Bailey, we think, has Villa 1 up against Brentford, which, if it stands, will cheer those Villa fans up. As Pat was saying in his preview, they've been watching Villa for over 40 years. They're on the search for a new manager. And while we were just listening to Pat there, and news of that goal at Villa Park, which does stand. So the goal stands. Villa 1, Brentford 0. Pat, all clear, all good. Villa 1 up.
Yes, indeed, and this is a strange situation for Villa to be 1 up so early. I think the Villa fans can't really believe it. 7 goals so far this season. Every one of them scored by different players, apart from Bailey just now. He got one against Manchester City. That rarity when they played well.
Thank you, Pat. Right, so Villa 1, Brentford 0. Leeds Fulham underway, so is Wolves Leicester. Our 4:30 commentary this afternoon is Tottenham against Newcastle. And while Pat Murphy was giving us news of that Villa goal, Steve, Bukayo Saka put an absolutely delicious cross into that Southampton box and no one could get a touch.
Delightful ball, wasn't it? Really teasing. He cut back on his left foot, whipped it in. He evaded absolutely everybody. I think it was Gabriel that slung a high foot but just missed out. But what are we, 4.5 minutes in already, and we can see the balls from Arsenal going to the wide men, trying to really get at Southampton fullbacks.
Such a wonderful, talented, exciting front four. Jesus through the middle, Saka and Martinelli on the flanks, Ødegaard pulling the strings behind them. Arsenal have won the ball high up the field. Here is Ødegaard, low ball to Martinelli, actually ran into Granit Xhaka, who was trying to get involved in the attacking move, and the ball breaks free and is with Bazunu. So I've given you the Southampton back four. The goalkeeper is Gavin Bazunu, one of those players signed from Manchester City in the summer. El Yunusi is wide on the right-hand side. James Ward-Prowse, Ibrahima Diallo and Stuart Armstrong wide on the left in the midfield four, and Joe Aribo, the summer signing from Rangers, plays off Adam Armstrong. Armstrong plays to the other Armstrong, so that was Adam to Stuart. And Stuart's floated a lovely ball onto the chest of Lianco. He's got a lot of space to bring it forward for Southampton. They want him to shoot, the fans. He does. He hits it low. Easy save for Aaron Ramsdale.
Well, the fans were asking him to shoot, but I think it was a wrong decision. He could have carried it on at least another 5, 6, 7 yards. Tried to get into the Arsenal box and maybe put a low cross in.
Southampton fans getting into it. Ralph Hasenhüttl all in black this afternoon. Black baseball cap on the head as well. Tracksuit trousers and hooded top. Frustrated that another pass goes astray. Arsenal unchanged then from the win at Leeds. Aaron Ramsdale in goal. This lineup becoming so familiar to listeners of our Premier League coverage on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this season. Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu's the left back in Arsenal's back four. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, Saka, Ødegaard, Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, El Neni, those out injured for Arsenal at the moment. So Villa leading Brentford by a goal to nil. Leeds and Fulham goalless, so is Wolves Leicester. Tomiyasu on the ball for Arsenal. Lovely afternoon to be playing your football. Some weak October sunshine flooding across the ground. Martinelli to Jesus. Lovely first touch. Jesus half stopped by Salisu. Driven shot from Xhaka. Bazunu did well to stand firm there at the near post. Gave it everything. Xhaka. Bazunu blocks. It's out for a throw to Arsenal. Steve Sidwell.
Excellent play there from Arsenal. Really took their time, patient. Really intricate passes, and they found their way into Jesus. Shot, deflection. We know Xhaka's got a hell of a left shot, left foot as well, wasn't he? So he screened as Jesus to leave it. Good stop from Bazunu.
Ball played out by Diallo for Southampton. Joe Aribo was a lanky figure, short sleeve shirt, untucked. Now finds Stuart Armstrong. Diallo's come into the Southampton midfield this afternoon because Ainsley Maitland-Niles unavailable as he's on loan from Arsenal. Chaleta Sarr, the number 6, plays across to Salisu. Saka's interested, closes in. Back to the 20-year-old Bazunu. Bazunu just delays, then clears with his right foot from the edge of the 6-yard box. That is ending up in the Arsenal half. Slightly bobbly back pass from Saliba, so Ramsdale has to come a little further out of his box than he wanted to. He clears. Another early goal. This one has come at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
Oh my goodness, what a screamer from Tielemans. Wolves 0, Leicester 1. Maddison free kick, headed away. Tielemans picked it up 22 yards out and thumped it into the top corner. One of the goals of the season, no two ways about it. Wolves 0, Leicester 1.
Arsenal have a free kick here while we're waiting for them to take that. Let's check in for the first time since kick-off at Ellen Road. Chris Coles.
Leeds 0, Fulham 0. Confident start though from the home side, already causing Fulham problems. Shots from Mark Roca and Rodrigo blocked and well saved respectively. You have the sunshine, Ali, we have the rain. Already we've seen a couple of slips and slides, passes zipping out of play, unsure defensive touches. Feels like the kind of game where the weather could play its part. 0-0.
Well, we got the sunshine, we don't have the goals as yet. Pat Murphy's seen another at Villa Park. Pat.
Another one to Villa Park. To Villa, laid on by Bailey. Bailey lost his man into the path of Ings, and the accomplished finish. Really fine goal. Villa lead Brentford 2-0, and Aaron Danks, the caretaker manager, it looks like he's suddenly remembered he's left the oven on at home. Cheer up, Aaron. It's only football. Villa 2, Brentford 0.
What a whirlwind start at Villa Park. So if you are just tuning into 5 Live and BBC Sounds, this is 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. Villa 2-0 up on Brentford. First game since Steven Gerrard's departure. 2 early goals there for Leon Bailey, and Yuri Tielemans with a screamer at Molineux. Wolves 0, Leicester 1. Leicester starting the day at the foot of the Premier League table after Nottingham Forest win over Liverpool yesterday. Southampton have given the ball away. Here's Martinelli. He's received it from Xhaka. Tomiyasu on the outside. Martinelli cross deflected. Oh, Ødegaard tried to get on the end of that. Good defending. Gets it away from him. Hacked away to the halfway line. Steve Sidwell, lot of Arsenal pressure again while we were bouncing around the grounds. Ødegaard could have scored.
What a great chance that was for Ødegaard. He missed the target. He should have hit the target. The ball fell nicely for him outside the 18-yard box, and he dragged his shot. You could see he was just trying to whip it into that bottom left-hand corner. He just dragged it past the post, but Xhaka's picking up some really clever positions here. That front three that you mentioned earlier on, Martinelli, Jesus and Saka, they're basically occupying that Southampton back four, and Xhaka is just picking up little areas of pockets of space that's being created by that front three, pinning the Southampton back four down.
Southampton 0, Arsenal 0. Sitting here, Steve, and I remember this from the last 2 times I watched.
Pitch, whereas beforehand he was very happy just to sit in front of that back four, do his job. But at the moment he's picking up errors, he's making explosive runs.
Here's Ben White on the right hand side for Arsenal. Here's Xhaka. Oh, what a finish from Granit Xhaka. Half volley on the right foot. Ben White's cross found him in the middle, and Granit Xhaka is having one heck of a season for Arsenal at the moment. That was sublime. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1.
For the Arsenal fans away to us on our right hand side are going absolutely crazy, and it's well deserved as well for Arsenal. It's a delightful finish. Down the right hand side, Ben White gets up far too much space and he puts a cross in, but Xhaka has the ability and the confidence to control the finish. I think he just comes on the half volley to him and he keeps it low as possible. It still hits the roof of the net. Thunder pass the Southampton goalkeeper, but Arsenal take the lead, and well deserved.
Got to give Steve Sidwell a pat on the back as well. It doesn't often work like that, Steve. Seconds before he scored that goal, you were talking about the position Xhaka was taking up, but the finish was exceptional. Match of the day 2 tonight, BBC One at 10:30, and so we have our first goal here. Arsenal, the league leaders, lead Southampton by 1-0. Granit Xhaka, that is his 4th goal of the season. 3rd in the Premier League. Was talking in the press this week about the tough times he's been through at the club, and he really fell out with the fans big time a couple of seasons ago. He has properly turned it round.
I mean, that finish there literally just sums his season up so far. Arsenal are in here.
Yeah, they are. Jesus drags it down. Chaleta Sarr's all over the back of him. Jesus wants a penalty. VAR will have to have a look at that. Peter Banks is the man at Stockley Park. Jesus thought he was away from Chaleta Sarr. He did his best to then wriggle free and get the shot away. Eventually decided he had to go down, and I'm sure they'll be looking at those images as to whether Chaleta Sarr had enough of a handful for that to warrant a penalty, for it to be a clear and obvious error.
Oh, I think that's a penalty. I think that's going to be given. Southampton just switched off, didn't they? It was a free kick on the halfway line, and Granit just switched off as that back four did, and the delightful ball just clipped over, skimmed his hair. Jesus brought it down superbly, and to be fair, credit to Jesus, he tried to stay on his feet, he tried to get away from Granit, but there was a tug of the shirt there.
Well, the ball has not gone out of play since then, and our referee this afternoon, Robert Jones, has not decided to stop the game as yet, so maybe they have had a look and decided it's not a penalty, or they are still looking. Just puts his left hand to his earpiece at the moment. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Early goal from Granit Xhaka. Villa leading Brentford 2-0. Wolves 0, Leicester 1. Villa Brentford over on Sports Extra this afternoon. Martinelli could be in behind Southampton. Hooks the cross into the far post. Saka will try and get there. Ødegaard's behind him inside the Southampton penalty area. A couple of Southampton defenders in front of him, but Ødegaard holds on to the ball. Plays it to Saka. Now outside that box, plays it across to Partey, 25 yards out, finds Saka, great ball and good tackle on Saka. Last ditch from Salisu, flag up anyway, so it would have been an offside. And Granit Xhaka is now talking to the referee about the potential Arsenal penalty claim.
Well, I think with that claim, I think if Jesus goes down on the first contact, I think it's given as a penalty, but because he tried to stay up and in that split second the motion's gone, I think it's probably a fair call, but I think if he goes down early, I think it could be given that.
Just having another look now. Chileta has, yeah, you're right, Steve. I take your point there. He's got both arms around Jesus, but Jesus sort of delays going down. Penalty at Villa Park, all happening for Pat Murphy.
To Aston Villa. Ashley Young is bouncing the ball while waiting for Brentford to stop arguing with the referee. David Raya, the keeper, is very upset about that decision, but to me it looked cast-iron decision by Darren England. Tyrone Mings was held back by the centre-back Christopher Aya, and I heard the roars from the Holt End because it was happening in front of the Holt End before the referee, about 5 seconds later, made the decision and pointed to the spot. So I think that's a bit of a giveaway. A reminder, Villa lead 2-0. Bailey first of all, and then Ings. Bailey has just seen a tremendous shot turned over the bar by the keeper Raya. Ashley Young has been supplanted now, and it's going to be taken by Danny Ings in front of the Holt End. Who would have thought, with just 10 minutes gone, they were close to winning a 3-0 Aston Villa after the horrors of this season? And he scored! Sent the keeper the wrong way, straight down the middle. The Holt End can't believe it. Neither can I. Aston Villa 3, Brentford 0.
Well, former Southampton man Danny Ings on the score sheet twice. I mean, it's a ridiculous game, football, Steve, isn't it? What is Steven Gerrard thinking now?
I mean, it happens all the time, doesn't it? A manager gets the sack, and then the team goes out and performs 3 goals. I mean, in the first 10 minutes, I mean, I covered them against Fulham in midweek, and I mean, second half performance from Aston Villa was absolutely atrocious. It was a team not full of confidence at all and weren't playing for the manager. And just go to show.
So, commentary on that one over on Sports Extra. Leeds, Fulham and Wolves, Leicester available as commentaries via the BBC Sport website. They're online this afternoon. We are watching Southampton Arsenal. 15 minutes gone first half. Granit Xhaka has given Arsenal the lead in the 11th minute of the game. And Southampton actually have barely had a kick at the moment. It is all Arsenal possession. Home crowd is quietening a little. I can hear a few grumbles from those sitting behind me as Partey strokes a pass to his right to Ben White. Saka right on that right-hand touchline, plays infield to Jesus. Jesus back to Saka, now finds Ødegaard, round the corner to Jesus. Salisu's trying to hold him off, Chileta is there, side foots a clearance away, Ben White gets a foot on it, but Aribo is there. Back to Stuart Armstrong, inside his own half, looking for El Yunusi. I think that's the first time I've mentioned his name in the game. Takes a touch. Martinelli does such a good defensive job for Arsenal on the left-hand side. Just didn't let him get away and did enough to win the ball back for Arsenal.
Absolutely amazing work rate from Martinelli. One moment he's absolutely pinning the full-back down for Southampton, and the next he's tracking 30 yards run. The hard yards he's not scared of doing at all.
It was a ball on there for Thomas Partey, possibly to Martinelli, who'd immediately gone down the other end of the field to try and get in behind. And Granit Xhaka was racing into the centre-forwards spot.
Like I said before, he's picking up this little position here. He's just on the edges of Ward-Prowse. You can imagine Ward-Prowse and Diallo in centre midfield. He's just playing on his shoulder because Martinelli's pinning back the full back end and El Yunusi as well. So plenty of space in this pitch for Xhaka to get on, and the confidence is at the moment. He'll get the ball. He's been driving with it already. He can pick a pass or he can shoot and score like we've seen.
all Arsenal at the moment. The league leaders going 4 points ahead of Manchester City if they can win this game this afternoon. They lead Southampton by 1-0. Tomiyasu, though, has taken too long with his pass. Armstrong has a nibble, has a second attempt at winning it back. Eventually, Gabriel is there for Arsenal. Very calmly with his left foot, plays a low pass to the 21-year-old Saliba. Back to Partey, looks for the 1-2 with Jesus. Southampton are able to intercept via Adam Armstrong, and back it comes to Bazunu. Plays it to Salisu. He's immediately under pressure from Saka. Saka's half blocked that, and the ball hits Saka. Salisu's appealing for handball, but it's gone out for a Southampton throw in their left-back position. Coming up to 18 minutes played, Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Latest from Ellen Road, Chris Coles.
Warning sign for Leeds. They've had a good start, but Fulham have spurned a brilliant chance. Harrison Reed, inexplicably unmarked inside the box, 6 yards out, beat Meslier, denied by a sensational goal line block from Mark Rocker. Not sure how he kept it out, but he did. Leeds 0, Fulham 0.
Southampton have taken their throw from the left-back position, and it's immediately come off Joe Aribo and gone out for an Arsenal throw. Next break in play will take you back to Molineux. Last we heard, Wolves 0, Leicester 1, with a Tielemans screamer getting Leicester in front. So, important afternoon, interesting afternoon of Premier League football. Tottenham, Newcastle in full to come at 4:30 on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app for you. Saliba to White. He's just inside the Southampton half. He's closed down by Stuart Armstrong. Ball is played back to Gabriel. Steve?
I was just going to say that goal for Arsenal really has settled this game down, and the crowd as well, hasn't it? You know, we thought, was Southampton going to be on the front foot and press high? They're just happy to just sit back in their shape.
Could be in trouble again, Southampton, because here's Ødegaard weaving pretty patterns just outside the Southampton penalty area. Thomas Partey gets involved, turns away from Adam Armstrong, plays it to Tomiyasu, cross to Xhaka. 15 yards inside the Southampton half, comes back to the halfway line. Right, let's get to Molineux. There's been another goal. Lee Blakeman.
Another one for Leicester. They're 2 up. This time Harvey Barnes down the left. Lovely 1-2 with Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. And in a game that Wolves have absolutely dominated, would you believe, Leicester find themselves 2 up.
OK, thank you, Lee. Commentary of that one continues online. Villa 3, Brentford 0. Leicester 2 up at Wolves. Still goalless between Leeds and Fulham. No, it's not. Goal at Ellen Road. Chris Coles.
And you can hear which way this has gone. You can feel the relief around Ellen Road. Leeds 1, Fulham 0. Rodrigo back in the side, back in the goals. His 5th of the season. Initial shot from Harrison was well saved. Rodrigo tidying up at the back post to nod Leeds into a 1-goal lead. Leeds 1, Fulham 0.
So goals now in all 4 of the 2 o'clock kickoffs, and we're only 20 minutes into the game so far this afternoon. Keeping you across everything here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Diallo to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse plays it back to Diallo. Still Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Granit Xhaka with a sweet right-footed half volley to get Arsenal in front from a Ben White cross in the 11th minute of this game. Southampton have a bit of possession. They've come back to their young goalkeeper Bazunu, who's all different sort of shades of green in his goalkeeping outfit for Southampton. Dark green kit and light green boots. Ball down the left from Stuart Armstrong, finds Perraud. Perraud gets his cross in, and Southampton win their first corner of the first half. They're trailing Arsenal by 1-0.
Well, that comes from the keeper, Bazunu, wasn't it? It was a splitting pass that got Armstrong down the left-hand side, and there was numbers in the box. 3 attackers in there for Southampton as well. If the ball would have been better, but it goes out for a Southampton corner.
Which James Ward-Prowse, as we know, will take for them, and which gives Southampton and their fans plenty of encouragement, because the delivery is normally deadly. This one's going to come in from the left. Everyone pretty much crowded into the 6-yard box for Arsenal. Here comes the delivery from Ward-Prowse. Ramsdale gets a fist through a whole clutch of bodies to be able to punch it away. Perraud on the ball for Southampton, chased by Martinelli inside the Arsenal half. Finds Ward-Prowse wide on the left. It's played back to Stuart Armstrong. Armstrong goes down the inside left channel. Aribo tries to flick it on. El Yunusi can't control it. And Ramsdale immediately sees Granit Xhaka in space in the middle of the Arsenal half to get Arsenal away on the counter. Jesus drops deep. Little ball up to Xhaka. Tries to get it back to Jesus. Lianco read it. Good 50-50 won by the Brazilian against his fellow Brazilian, in fact. And Diallo now plays across to Ward-Prowse. So Southampton trying to get a footing in the game. They had that win, of course, against Bournemouth in midweek. Important one for them, only a 3rd win of the season, starting today 2 points above the bottom 3. Salisu to Diallo. Diallo just creeps into the Arsenal half, then plays it back here to the Croatian Duj Chaleta Tsar. Now Lianco. Back to Chileta Sarr, and Arsenal just keeping their shape. Ødegaard is the one to go and try and put Salisu under pressure. And Southampton decide they have to come all the way back to Bazunu. Bazunu plays to his right. Here's Chileta Sarr. Looks up to the feet of Adam Armstrong. Down the line from Lianco to El Yunusi. Arsenal sense their chance to win it back. They do that. Another good challenge from Lianco to Rob Martinelli. Jesus looks for Martinelli with the back heel, and it comes off his boot and goes out for a throw to Southampton.
When Southampton get the ball, it's very flat, isn't it? Very static. There's no movement up front. There's no dynamic runs in behind from the wingers or from Armstrong up top. It just needs to. You feel like they need to move the Arsenal players around. The Arsenal players are very comfortable just being in their position. You see more explosiveness from Southampton, you feel.
Here's Stuart Armstrong. Could he provide that now? Dribbling inside the Arsenal half. Sees plenty of space for Romain Perraud, the left back, who starts barrelling forward, hits a shot into the back of Ben White, spins off Ben White. Ward-Prowse scampers to the touchline to keep it in play on the left-hand side. Little 1-2 with Salisu. Then a switch pass wide to the left to Perraud. Back to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse, Saka in front of him. Back to Salisu. Now Aribo. Aribo challenged by Partey. Southampton have done well to work it wide to the left. Stuart Armstrong's taking on Ben White, drops the shoulder, comes in field, stabs it back to Ward-Prowse. He zips a pass low across here to Lianco. Lianco goes wide to El Yunusi. Back to Lianco. Better from Southampton, but can they actually turn it into a threat against the Arsenal defence? Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Villa 3 up on Brentford already. Leeds 1, Fulham 0. And Leicester 2 up at Molineux away to Wolves. That's the latest in the Premier League. In the Championship, it was Watford 4, Luton 0. Swansea 2, Cardiff 0. And Arsenal 3 points. Arsenal's women 3 points clear at the top of the WSL after a 2-0 win away to Liverpool in the early kickoff. Manchester United kick-off at 3. Southampton had given it away. Ødegaard straight to Jesus, trying to get it onto the right foot, back onto the left, hits the shot into the side netting. Quick feet from Jesus, couldn't find the target. Goal kick for Southampton.
Well, in the turn of the eye, that's how quick Arsenal could attack. A great ball from Ødegaard that found Jesus. Terrific control. He takes it in, then he draws the Southampton defenders towards him. Then he's just trying to get in the box. When he gets to his right foot, you're thinking that's the one where that Thierry Henry, where he just shapes it into that far corner, and he cuts back in. He sends the Southampton players diving, in his shot just skims the outside of the post.
Yeah, just try to beat Bazunu at the near post and fool him, as Steve Sidwell's describing there. He could possibly, first time, have tried to whip that one into the far corner, sort of on that angle from the left-hand side. And I think pretty much every football fan will know what Steve is talking about when he describes it as the Thierry Henry finish. Martinelli now plays back to Gabriel. Arsenal all in black this afternoon. Have it inside their own half. Saliba to Gabriel, not challenged, up to the halfway line he comes, plays it to Partey, gets it back, gives it to Partey again and gets it back again. Here's Gabriel, decides it's not on to the left, just crosses the halfway line and then rolls a pass across the line to Ben White. Very slow and steady from Arsenal at the moment, patient. 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Mikel Arteta, the manager, looking pensive, hand on chin. Partey floated ball looking for Ødegaard, brings it down, flicks it in the air. Jesus leaps to try and win the header. Ben White's got his foot up. Ball comes off his foot and finds Saka. Saka's tackled by Stuart Armstrong, throwing for Arsenal. Wide on the right, another goal at Elland Road. Chris Coles.
Leeds joy short-lived. Fulham have equalised, and guess who scored it? Alexander Mitrovic, number 9 for the season. So easy, front post corner. Mitrovic across his man, nods beyond Meslier. Leeds 1, Fulham 1.
Commentary continues online. Here's Tomiyasu for Arsenal, wide to Martinelli. Martinelli very quickly closed down by El Yunusi. Throw for Arsenal. Martinelli picks it up, looks for a quick one, decides it's not on, so leaves it to his left back Takahiro Tomiyasu, the Japanese international. He leans into his throw, skids it down the touchline to Martinelli, who takes control, darts between a couple of defenders, tries to find a pass back to Gabriel, intercepted by Aribo, so Martinelli is straight back to try and win it for Arsenal. Southampton get the throw. Steve Sidwell.
Really good from El Yunusi there, got really tight to Martinelli on 2 occasions, and that's what these Southampton players need to do. It feels like they're very happy just to sit off, especially the lads in the midfield with Arsenal, with Partey. I mean, he got the ball earlier on and no one engaged him.
Ward-Prowse or Diallo didn't engage him. He just picked the ball up and just floated a delightful ball into Ødegaard that ran into the box. Very, very easy for Arsenal.
Yeah, Lianco throw, intercepted by Partey, chested down by Lianco, fouled by Jesus. We were talking about that relationship between Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola, who are currently the managers of the two teams vying for top spot at the moment. I saw Arteta talking in the week, saying that they do still talk as friends, but don't talk about each other's teams. I noticed a cheeky little one from Guardiola on Sports Report last night. He was chatting to our man Gary Flintoff, and he said it was just a little throwaway line, but he said Arsenal are just, well, they're unbeatable at the moment. And I thought, you know, I mean, their record says they pretty much are. Just heaping a little bit more pressure on Arsenal ahead of this game today, as El Yunusi, his pass in towards the Arsenal area, is blocked by Tomiyasu. Back to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse across to El Yunusi, the Norwegian again. Goes for the step over. Tomiyasu's not falling for that. Will he fall for the spin and turn? Yes, he will. Armstrong on it. Drives it with his left foot. Arsenal get bodies in the way. Bounces to Jesus. He's just outside his own penalty area at the moment. Finds Xhaka, back to Tomiyasu. Gabriel drops into the left back position, but Tomiyasu wants to spread play. High lofted ball to Ben White. Heads it to Ødegaard. Nods it down to White. White looking for Saka. Saka's away here. Now, can he finish this one off? Edge of the box, gets a little nudge from Salisu, who's off balance, and the referee has given the free kick the other way and says that Bukayo Saka has simulated a potential foul there, and he is booked for diving.
Well, even from where we're sitting, it was definitely not a foul for Arsenal. I didn't think there was much simulation. We're looking at the replay now, but Ben White has been fantastic down that right-hand side. That link-up play actually looks like there is a little clip of the foot. Possibly. Oh no, Saka does put his right foot out to try and get contact, doesn't he? Forces the contact himself. It's a great call from the referee there. Fantastic decision.
That is well spotted at speed from the referee, because the defender Salisu did stick a foot out, withdrew it, and then Saka went looking for that foot. And there's a certain gentleman by the name of Chris Sutton who is always looking for candidates for the simulation game on 606, and that little incident may well feature this evening. Tut, tut, tut. 29 minutes gone first half. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Xhaka's goal, throw in Arsenal in the left back position. Attacking brilliantly this season, but defending as a team as well. So, although came under a lot of pressure last week against Leeds in that second half.
Outstanding. They've been, you know, the amount of questions that's been thrown at Arsenal this season, and they've answered the majority of them, haven't they? Defensively, offensively, the partnerships that they're building across the pitch, the team as confident as they are, the individuals that are confident. You know, it's all looking very, very good for Arsenal at the moment. Everyone's waiting for them to slip up, but they keep going.
That's right. Next up for them, PSV Eindhoven away, a draw in that one, and that will seal a place in the last 16 of the Europa League. Gabriel Jesus has taken a knock. He's holding his lower back, and Lianco is standing over him. The play didn't need to stop there, but the referee has decided to blow the whistle, and so we have a pause in proceedings. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. What's happening at Ellen Road? Chris Coles.
Oh, Leeds, what are you doing? Kamikaze defending. Fulham should be in front. Everyone forward for a free kick. It broke to Andreas Pereira, who had the entirety of the Leeds half to frolic into. He had all the time in the world to beat Illan Meslier, and he couldn't. Meslier makes a good save low down to his left-hand side, but Leeds are rocking. Leeds 1, Fulham 1.
Well, it's certainly been rocking at Villa Park this afternoon. This is another one of the 2 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. Pat Murphy.
10 minutes of longer since we had the third goal. It's 3-0 to Villa. Buendia, though, just wide. I wouldn't at all be surprised, such as professional football and their mindset. This game ends Aston Villa 3, Brentford 0, Alistair.
Thank you, Pat. Let's wait and see. Exactly, plenty of time to go. Still in the first half, actually. 15 minutes to go on all these first halves. Molineux seen goals as well, Lee Blakeman?
Yeah, Leicester are 2 up, but Wolves have had so many chances. Diego Costa's had one tipped over. Mateus Nunes is forced to save from Ward with his feet. Bueno's had a shot deflected wide, and Kilman's headed over. Strange game. Wolves 0, Leicester 2.
Sounds like some afternoon of football, Steve. I think match of the day 2 tonight's going to be worth a watching now.
Superb. Just there, I mean, with the physios coming on for Jesus.
Yeah.
Arteta got the Arsenal players in a little huddle, and the similarities with him and Pep Guardiola, we were saying earlier on, the intensity that he's talking to his players at, just giving them instructions, but he's getting up in their face, you know, the hand signals, the shuffling that he's doing. I mean, he must do 5-10k in that technical box.
Play back underway. El Yunusi trying to get round the back of Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu makes the challenge. now wants play stopped because I think his boot has half come off, and he's making that point to the assistant referee. So throw-in yet to be taken by Southampton. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Tomiyasu sat down. I mentioned 6:06 tonight. That will be on from about 6:30 this evening. So we've got commentary of Tottenham Newcastle, which kicks off at 4:30. John Murray and Clinton Morrison with that one. Then we'll go into 6:06 through until 7:45, and then we've got commentary of the US Grand Prix this evening from 7:45. And by the way, I mentioned Sports Report as well. I had a little listen to that on the BBC Sounds app. So that was Sports Report yesterday afternoon, all the reaction and talking points after the Saturday afternoon kickoffs. If you're not caught up with that as yet, worth a listen if you can find it on BBC Sounds. Just get onto Sounds, search for Football Daily, click subscribe, and away you go. Lianco, away he goes with the throw. Headed away by Arsenal, nodded back in purposefully by Ward-Prowse. Aribo with his back to goal, plays it back to Ward-Prowse. Lofted ball up to the far post, and Ben White, all he can do under pressure there is nod it behind for a Southampton corner.
Well, Ramsdale was on his toes to come out, and then he made the late call to stay. Must have given the shout for Ben White to clear his lines, which he did do. Good pressure from Southampton, though.
Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Ward-Prowse corner again. Bounces the ball. Just clears the quadrant of any debris that's lurking. Wants to get on with this quickly, Ward-Prowse. Left arm in the air. Whips it in with his right foot. Ramsdale stayed on his line for that one. Headed behind. Another Southampton corner. It is, isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the corner he had before as well, he literally stuck it exactly on the same place there.
He must practice that time and time again, mustn't he? But it is, and the point is, you've then got to be able to deliver it in the game situation. Now, Aaron Ramsdale's just come and had a word with the referee Robert Jones, because I think he feels that Southampton are deliberately making it very difficult for him to get to these corners. In it comes. Now that one is headed away by Granit Xhaka. Stuart Armstrong volleys the ball and it hits the referee, and it was going to find James Ward-Prowse, and the referee's not made himself a popular man. He's a bit unlucky there.
He couldn't get out of the way of it. I mean, the corner got cleared and Armstrong tried to pop it back out to Ward-Prowse as quickly as possible. It's come at his midriff. It was impossible for the referee to move that. I've never seen a referee move that quick.
Drop ball Southampton. Has to be Southampton possession. I don't know what Gabriel Jesus is offering to boot it back into the Southampton half. I don't think we're going to have that, Gabriel, because James Ward-Prowse would have had the ball in space wide on the left-hand side. So Ødegaard tells Jesus to step away. Ball is dropped to Ward-Prowse. Armstrong curls a cross in. That's dangerous. Xhaka gets a foot on it. Adam Armstrong's there down by the byline on the left-hand side, and Thomas Partey is with him for Arsenal. Twisting and turning is Armstrong, and he wins another corner for Southampton. And the home team just enjoying a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, the home fans now trying to pick up their players, their team. Ward-Prowse, we know how deadly he is on the set ball delivery. Surprised at the way that Arsenal defended in terms of standing on their feet, making sure no fouls are given outside that box, but from the corners he's on the button. 3 in a row have gone into exactly the same spot, haven't they, Steve? They perceive it as a weakness. Arsenal know it's coming, but can they deal with it? Now that one's lower into the near post. Aribo stoops. Who got the last touch? Another corner. Arsenal touch apparently. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. And Arsenal holding firm at the moment, but being severely tested by these laser-like deliveries from the right boot of James Ward-Prowse, with that red bold stripe down the middle of his white shirt. Rhythmic, slow hand clap building inside the stadium. Ward-Prowse, good delivery again. This one's headed away by Ben White at the near post. Stuart Armstrong's there, heads it to his left. Awkward for Ward-Prowse to control. Did so well to keep it for Southampton. Armstrong then looks for him again down by the byline. Is he going to win another corner? He has. That's where the ball goes high and it's spinning, and it does Ward-Prowse and the Arsenal player. I don't know what it was, but it sent them both, but they've managed to get another corner out of it. They're getting some joy now.
Yeah, real period of pressure. Southampton pressure on the Arsenal backline at the moment. Ramsdale, the Arsenal keeper, in bright yellow, both arms in the air. This corner's deeper to the far post. Tomiyasu flicks a back header out to the Arsenal left flank. Complete miscue from William Saliba, which the home fans roar their approval of. Throw in Southampton wide on the right. Lianco gets ready to take. Villa 3, Brentford 0, Leeds 1, Fulham 1, Wolves 0, Leicester 2. Latest scorelines in the 2 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League this afternoon. Tottenham Newcastle commentary on the way on 5 Live at 4:30. Lianco's taking his time, but that's because referee Robert Jones is just making sure everything is as he wants it in the Arsenal penalty area. Lianco says, can I take the throw now? Yes, you can. Here we go. In it comes, long one. Corner of the 6-yard box, headed away by Gabriel. Second header from Martinelli. Lianco controls on the instep. Side foots a pass here across to Romain Perraud. Perraud plays the ball slightly behind Stuart Armstrong, but he was alert, was able to control it toward Prowse in central midfield. Southampton have come all the way back into their own half. Chaleta Sarr to Lianco. Arsenal closing in here, and Southampton have creaked and they've given the ball away. Tomiyasu has it, and he plays a ball round the corner to Partey, and eventually the ball goes out for an Arsenal throw in their left back position.
Good pressure from Xhaka on Diallo to try to just whip that ball round the corner into the front man Armstrong, but the pressure from Xhaka made it go to Tomiyasu, and now Arsenal in control. Good possession. You think that spell there for Southampton, can they just try and get a shot off, or can they just test Ramsdale? They've not really done that so far in this half, have they?
No, in terms of those corners, he's had to punch one away, which was difficult for him to get to, and he dealt with the other ones. Actually have been dealt with by his defenders. Here's White, curling ball, looking for Saka. Saka wrestling with Salisu. Saka's there first, holds Salisu off, leans over him, knocks him to the floor. Saka throws his arms up in frustration, thinks he should have had a free kick, so decision's not going his way. Already booked for simulation in this first half. Xhaka, didn't like that from Lianco. Lianco in late, and Xhaka had a tiny little retaliatory flick kick. Good dribble from Martinelli up to the edge of the Southampton box. Hits the shot, deflected, wide it goes. Bazunu wasn't sure. Saka was in space on the right. Martinelli went for the shot, and now the referee's having a quick word with Lianco. I think he spotted what was going on with Xhaka.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that from Lianco for Southampton. He's trying to engage, he's trying to just leave a little bit on the Arsenal players to say, listen, we're not just going to stand off and let you just pop it around us. But how good was Martinelli there when he picked up the ball, just dribbled like Ryan Giggs, where the ball just sticks to the foot and he just dribbles with it at ease.
It's a slalom, isn't it? It's just
so good to watch. I never had that. That's why it's good to watch.
Steve Sidwell with us at the St Mary's Stadium. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Been a very lively afternoon in the Premier League so far. In the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Arsenal corner. Saka will take with his left foot, in swinger. Good header away from Salisu, controlled by Ben White. Taken off him though. Armstrong heads it up in the air. Ødegaard deals with the danger now for Arsenal. Has Martinelli in space on the left and finds him. Martinelli away from Ward-Prowse, takes on Diallo into the penalty area, flicks the cross into the near post. Good defending from Lianco, knocks it behind for another Arsenal corner.
What a stop there was from Ødegaard, because I think the header into Stuart Armstrong, he would have been not in on goal, but definitely in the half, clearly running at Ramsdale. Great interception, and then Arsenal, as quick as that, go on the attack and they get a corner.
1-0 to the Arsenal is a very familiar refrain. Won their last 3 games before this one 1-0. Bodo Glimt away, Leeds away, and PSV at home on Thursday, leading this one 1-0. Partey receives the corner from Martinelli. Southampton look for an offside. Curling ball to the far post, headed away again by Salisu. Flag goes up, it was offside. Free kick for Southampton, so the Arsenal short corner routine doesn't catch Southampton out.
You mentioned there about the form that Arsenal are in at the moment. You know, it's exceptional, isn't it, really? You think about the beginning of the season and Pep Guardiola and Man City, the signing that Jesus and Zinchenko go into Arsenal obviously was a sign that possibly they didn't feel that they was at all title contenders, as most people didn't, but the Arsenal fans are loving it at the moment, and qualified for Europa League. Everything's all rosy for Arsenal.
Here's Ben White, plays to his right to Saka. Ball goes out for a throw. Saka's having a slightly frustrating afternoon for Arsenal. Has been the main man in the last couple of Premier League wins against Liverpool and Leeds. Partey on the ball in the centre circle for Arsenal. Sweeps it towards Xhaka. Immediately back to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu plays across to Saliba. Saliba just inside his own half. Forward pass to White. White to Saka, moving in off the right-hand touchline, taking Southampton defenders with him. Gets a shot away, deflected safely into the arms of Bazunu. Back to Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
Still 3-0 to Aston Villa, but nearly 4 a moment ago. Louise, inside of the post, he hit from a corner, an in-swinging corner from the follow-up. Cash, 25 yards out, fingertip save, splendid save, low by Rea. It is still Villa 4 and Villa 3, Brentford 0.
Bazunu clears with his right foot, the Southampton goalkeeper. High spinning ball headed forward by Tomiyasu into the Southampton half. Lianco heads it to his left. Diallo clears on the half volley. Tomiyasu wins another header. Lianco brave. runs forward, chests it down. Xhaka blocks. No, he didn't touch the pass. Straight out for a throw-in to Arsenal inside their own half on the left. So Villa 3, Brentford 0. Closing in on half-time at Villa Park. Tomiyasu waits to take the throw. Mikel Arteta with that sort of black long sleeve top and almost looks like he's in the Arsenal kit this afternoon. Throw in from Tomiyasu to Jesus, chests it down, fouled by Lianco, who goes tumbling over the top of him. Just in that conversation we were having ahead of the game, the whole Arteta-Guardiola thing, it's intensity, isn't it? In terms of the similarities between them and what he's picked up, they both have a very sort of similar intensity, and conviction's another word I'd say as well. He's utterly convinced of what he wants to do and the way he sees it.
Yeah, the Arsenal players are certainly buying into the process and believe in the process as well. And obviously when you win, that breeds confidence, it breeds momentum, it breeds habits. Winning is a habit, and that is definitely what Arteta is trying to install into this Arsenal team.
Saliba plays to Ben White on the right, and again Saka makes a good run in from the right and sees Xhaka in space, lays it off. Jesus hits the curler, blocked just inside the Southampton area. Wonderfully worked by Arsenal. So simple when you watch it like that. You wonder why Southampton aren't able to stop it, but it's done cleverly, moving Southampton around. There's Jesus, plays it back to Saliba, cross to Ødegaard. There's the run on the outside from White, but Saka gets involved on the inside, plays back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard to Gabriel. Are Arsenal going to find a second to make things very tough for Southampton just before half-time? Partey, central position. Ball runs to Jesus, to Ødegaard. Scoop past Jesus with a volley. Bazunu saves, and Salisu clears just in time for Southampton. Arsenal come again. Here's Ødegaard in the penalty area to Ben White on the outside. White goes down inside the box. Nothing doing. Robert Jones wags a finger. Southampton clear up the left-hand side. A Rebo challenge by Partey, and Southampton get the free kick, and Arsenal very nearly had that second goal.
Well, again, really good play from Arsenal, and the two fullbacks are so high and wide that allows all the wide players for Arsenal to then come inside. Then his link-up play between Ødegaard and Jesus, a little 1-2, and I think Jesus will be disappointed that he's not really tested Bazunu more. I mean, doesn't really catch it. He has to take it high because the Southampton defenders coming to close him down. He doesn't really catch it as cleanly. He doesn't get a good purchase on it, but it still makes it safe for Bazunu.
The Ødegaard scoop pass there in the 1-2 was a thing of beauty. It really was. Minute to play, plus a bit of added time. Arsenal leading here 1-0. Goal came relatively early, 11th minute from Granit Xhaka, sweeping in. A Ben White cross on the right. Oh, Tomiyasu's overrun it. He's bravely tackled by El Yunusi. Blocks the pass forward from Ward-Prowse. It's with Lianco. Lianco to Diallo. Diallo to El Yunusi in the inside right channel. Makes 10 yards. Wants Armstrong to make the run in behind Tomiyasu's got it covered. Back to Aaron Ramsdale. Takes a touch. Finds Partey on the edge of the Arsenal area to Saka. Saka saw the challenge coming and evades it, and Arsenal are going to try and go from end to end at the end of this first half, and they might do it as well, you know. Added time at the end of the first half. Jesus was tripped. The referee rightly tried to play the advantage there. Tripped by Salisu, and had Jesus been able to get the ball away, Arsenal were on the move.
Originally I thought he was going to just leave it and go over the ball because Saka was making a dart and running behind, but Salisu stood on his feet and had to bring down Jesus, bring the momentum to the attack down.
Free kick taken quickly. Martinelli on the left. Cross takes a deflection. Stuart Armstrong has it covered. Ben White behind him gets a touch. That'll go out. Will it? Yes, it will. Throw into Southampton in the left back position. 90 seconds to play at the end of the first half. All the details come in at half-time from our reporters Pat Murphy, Chris Coles and Lee Blakeman, watching the other games in the Premier League that have kicked off at 2 o'clock this afternoon. In the WSL, Arsenal 3 points clear at the top, although Manchester United can catch them again. They kick off at 3 o'clock away to Leicester. So could Chelsea today. They're away at Brighton. A commentary on Brighton-Chelsea at 6:45 on Radio 5 Sports Extra tonight. So last minute of the first half at the St Mary's Stadium. Ball is inside the Southampton half. Diallo is trying to dribble out of trouble. He's lost it. Partey plays back to Gabriel. Gabriel, short pass to Partey again. Through the middle there, looking for Xhaka or Ødegaard, but couldn't find either. Stuart Armstrong brings it away for Southampton to Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse to his right. Mikel Arteta wants his team back, waving players back furiously. El Yunusi, high swinging cross. Stays in play. Aribo has it covered over by the byline on the left-hand side. Aribo with Perrault behind him, but he's got Ben White for company as well. Oh, he's done well to find Perrault. Perrault with the cutback. Here's Stuart Armstrong. Shot hits a foot, spins up in the air. Saka's back there to help Arsenal. Plays a short ball to Jesus. This is right at the end of the first half. The 2 minutes of added time are now up. Play continues. Jesus to Martinelli. Martinelli fancies taking on Lianco. Lianco makes the tackle, and that is the last action of a very entertaining first half. And the league leaders have their lead. Granit Xhaka with a wonderful finish, 11 minutes into the game. Could have had a second, Steve Sidwell, but Southampton have had their moments.
Southampton had their moments, just lacked that final bit of quality in the final third. Ramsdale not really been tested. A few set pieces from Ward-Prowse. We know he possesses that quality there. Just lacked that little bit of spark, that little bit of dynamic runs. You know, this feels a little bit flat to Southampton moment. You know, maybe a change at half-time is needed on that hour mark, but Arsenal far too easy and very, very deserve the lead at the moment.
As I said in the first half, you've heard it before, you'll hear it again. It is only half-time, but it's 1-0 to the Arsenal. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1.
How familiar does that sound? Thanks very much, Ali. Steve, just a quick one on Granit Xhaka. We heard from him in the first hour on Premier League Sunday. As many Premier League goals this season as he has had in his previous 3 seasons combined. He is living his best life right now, isn't he?
He's certainly a player that's playing with confidence. You can just tell even by the way that the positions that he's picking up. And the work rate that he's got going forward, and the finish, I mean, that was of such high quality. He took it on the half volley, and it could have easily have gone over the crossbar or scuffed wide. He controlled it, and it was a deft touch into the back of the net. He's someone that's, you know, had to win over his critics at time. He's passionate, he plays with his heart on his sleeve, and he's playing at the top of his game at the moment.
What about that lull though midway through for Arsenal? Is that a little bit of a concern? No,
I don't think so.
Or maybe just Southampton, you know, kind of got it right, you know, to rectify the tactical issues early on.
Yeah, I think when Arsenal go a goal up there, you want to put the foot down and try and get another one, which they have tried. But I think they've controlled the game. I don't think Southampton have really engaged and got close to Arsenal to really threat. But they've controlled this game, this first half so far, and if they get the next goal, for sure, it looks as though the game would be killed off.
Thanks very much, Steve. Steve Sidwell with Alistair Bruce Ball at St Mary's. A really loud St Mary's with that music. Southampton against Arsenal. Arsenal leading by 1-0. We'll be back for second half commentary on Premier League Sunday at 3 o'clock. We can go, though, to Villa Park. Surprise here. Commentary of that on Sports Extra second half against Brentford. Pat, you said the crowd were really quiet and subdued, but it sounds pretty lively at half-time.
Listen to this unfamiliar sound. That is the sound of thousands of satisfied Brummies. They're getting a great reception, and the Villa players lapping it up as well. They lead Brentford 3-0 at half-time. I really hope Villa don't put the handbrake back on again in the second half and sit on this, because they owe their supporters a hammering of Brentford. We shall see, but they played splendidly, and the crowd have responded. When they were 3-0 up, there was a break in the play, and the Villa players came over towards our side for drinks, and the Villa supporters, they were just giving him standing ovations for the simple expedient of having a drink of water. That shows how hungry the Villa supporters are. 3 goals. Leon Bailey, expert left foot finish early on. Bailey returned the compliment to Ings, another fine finish, and then an Ings penalty. Raya in the Brentford goal has made some splendid saves. Luis is at the inside of the post from an in-swinging corner. It could be a lot more than 3-0, but at the moment, Villa supporters cannot believe the half-time score after all that's gone before in the previous 11 months of 3-0.
You called it a bit of a surprise when the goals started going in, and they drowned you out at the first part at the end of the first half. But a quick word on, you know, Aaron Danks taking the handbrake off, as you said. It's the no manager bounce, isn't it?
Guys, same old. There's nothing new about this, Julia. We've seen it all before, of course. What I will say is that Gerrard was introspective towards the end of his time. He did not acknowledge the Villa supporters, and that really hacked off the Villa fans. Danks is not daft. Born and reared in this area, he knows the importance of the heritage of Villa Park and the club to Villa supporters, and he was there at the start applauding everybody, doing all that you should do in cosmetic terms, but more importantly, So far, he's actually got them playing like the players they really are. Good squad of players here, you know. Even Mings and Conter have been attempting to play football in the first half. Now that is remarkable.
Oh, it sounds like you're enjoying it anyway. Back to you for the second half with updates of that match where Aston Villa lead Brentford by 3-0. Up the road at Molineux against Leicester. Latest update from there, from Lee Blakeman.
Leicester 2 up at Wolves, Juliet, in a game that's been played at a frantic pace. It's been, by the sounds of it, just as good as Pat's game down the road. Tielemans opened the scoring with one of the goals of the season, 22 yards out, half volley, top corner, hit with so much power, an absolute thunderbolt. Look out for it later on Match of the Day 2. Leicester made it 2 just over 10 minutes later. Barnes slotting in at the end of a nice 1-2 with Dewsbury Hall. Wolves have had so many chances though. Diego Costa's had one cleared off the line, and Podence has forced an amazing point-blank save from Danny Ward right at the end of the half. Super stop, great game. Wolves 0, Leicester 2.
And at Ellen Road, Leeds against Fulham. Here's Chris Coles.
This is a really good game as well. Leeds 1, Fulham 1. An under pressure home manager, an away team in good form. The poor weather, it's all adding to an absorbing match. Leeds in front, deservedly so as well. Rodrigo back in the team, nodding in his 5th of the season, but Leeds couldn't build on it. Fulham hit back 6 minutes later. Alexander Mitrovic's stellar form continuing. The Fulham number 9 with goal number 9 of the season. Front post header from an Andreas Pereira corner, and the visitors really should have had a second. Pereira with the freedom of the Leeds half, charging through on Illan Mellier's goal. He almost had too much time to decide what to do, and in the end Mellier made a smart save down to his left hand side. This is tantalisingly poised. Leeds 1, Fulham 1.
Thanks, Chris. Match of the day from 10:30 tonight with Mark Chapman, Alan Shearer and Jermaine Defoe. Full commentary or second half commentary to come from Southampton at St Mary's, where Arsenal lead by 1-0 here on 5 Live. It's Premier League Sunday, and with the latest news at 2:53 is Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Rishi Sunak is promising to fix the economy after announcing he's running to be the next Prime Minister. He's received support from 144 MPs, including the ex-Home Secretary, Suella Braverman. Jasmine Cameron-Chileche is a political correspondent at the Financial Times.
A lot of the things that he predicted that would happen to the economy in terms of rising interest rates, he voiced concerns about runaway inflation, actually did come to fruition under Truss premiership. So a lot of people are looking to him as an authoritative figure, as someone who'd be able to calm the markets. And actually, at the moment, it seems like it's his to lose.
The former Foreign Secretary James Cleverly is backing Boris Johnson, despite the ex-PM not even declaring if he's standing. Others are warning it'll be a disaster if he returns to number 10 because he's being investigated by the Parliamentary Standards Committee. The former Conservative leader Ian Duncan-Smith is urging Tory MPs to consider what effect that investigation could have.
The pros for Boris are very clearly that he cuts through to the public and he's a phenomenal campaigner. The downsides of it are he's going to face this inquiry. How many of his colleagues are going to decide they won't support him if it gets to a difficult position?
The only other candidate to have officially declared they're in the running is the Commons leader Penny Mordaunt, who has 23 backers. Ukraine's security service has arrested one of the country's richest men, the head of a major producer of aircraft engines and turbines, on suspicion of working for Russia. Here's Danny Eberhard.
The arrest of Vyacheslav Boguslayev, the honorary president of the company Motor Sich, was confirmed on Sunday morning by the security services. He's been charged with collaboration and assisting an aggressor state, along with another executive at the firm. Investigators say managers colluded in a scheme whereby Russia obtained parts for military aircraft via intermediaries in the Middle East, Europe and East Asia to evade trade restrictions.
And anyone over 50 in Scotland can start booking their COVID and flu vaccines from tomorrow. The Scottish Government say the rollout now could ease the pressure on the NHS during the winter.
Essential football listening. Great ball! And it's a great goal! Europe's elite club competition.
Double Bill Tuesdays are back in the Champions League. On Tuesday, RB Salzburg host Chelsea. Kickoff 5:45, and from 8, Borussia Dortmund take on Manchester City. And on Wednesday, it's Spurs against Sporting Lisbon. Kickoff 8 p.m.
Europe's elite club competition.
The Champions League.
This is 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
And this is Premier League Sunday on 5 Live. I'm Juliette Farrington. Half-time scores in the Premier League. Aston Villa 3, Brentford 0. Steven Gerrard's managerial ability being savaged, you could fair to say, by events at Villa Park right now. Leeds 1, Fulham 1, Southampton 0, Arsenal 1, Wolves 0, Leicester 2. We'll be going back to St Mary's shortly, where for the second half you can hear Southampton against Arsenal, and later on here on 5 Live, Tottenham against Newcastle. That, of course, a 4:30 kickoff. One of the big stories over the day so far has been the T20 Cricket World Cup. India beat Pakistan in an extraordinary finish. It was chaos by taking 16 in the last over to successfully chase 160 with 4 wickets remaining. Virat Kohli finished 82 not out. He inspired India in front of a raucous crowd of over 90,000 at the MCG. It sounded electric, the MCG in Australia.
It's a surreal atmosphere. I honestly have no words. I have no idea how that happened. Hardik kept telling me, just believe we can do it, stay till the end. Honestly, I'm lost for words.
Where does this innings rank in your T20 career?
Well, till today, I've always said Mohali was my best innings against Australia. I got 82 of 52. Today, I got 82 of 53. So they're absolute... They are exactly the same innings, but I think today I will count this one higher because of the magnitude of the game and what the situation was. It seemed impossible, but then Hardik kept pushing me in that partnership, and we just went deep, and it just happened.
It was brilliant. Virat Kohli there talking to Ravi Shastri. If you get chance to listen to that last over and all the bedlam that came with it, then do it. You can find it on BBC Sounds. In the Rugby League World Cup, it's Lebanon 14, Ireland 0. You can watch that right now over on BBC Two. In the Rugby World Cup, England thrashed South Africa 72-0. They now top Pool C, and they've set up a quarter-final against Australia next Sunday. In the Championship, Swansea moved to 4th. They got a 2-0 win over Cardiff in the South Wales derby, and Watford put their recent poor form behind them by putting 4 past Luton Town in that derby at Vicarage Road. Arsenal extended their Women's Super League winning run with a fairly routine 2-0 victory over Liverpool at Prenton Park. So coming up at 5 Live, Premier League Sunday and BBC Sounds, commentary at 4:30 of Tottenham against Newcastle. We can speak to our correspondent John Murray there. Hello, John.
Good afternoon, Juliette.
Well, this time last season, Newcastle, bottom of the Premier League, only had 6 points. Now they've got 18 and could move into the top 4 if they win.
Yeah, which I make would be the first time that they've got into the Champions League places.
Ooh. that they'd like to see Antonio Conte use the squad just that little bit more, but in the sense that he was saying maybe that he doesn't seem to have that trust of them.
Well, I don't know. I think we quite often say with managers they don't know what their best team is. I think Antonio Conte is one manager who does know what his best team is, and he'll use his squad to the best effect that he feels. But I wonder about players like Ryan Sessegnon, Lucas Moura, who are sort of fringe figures at the moment. Jed Spence, for example, has only been given a little bit of a go. Emerson Royal is available for this, having completed a suspension. So whether he comes back in or whether Doherty continues as right wing back, we will find out. But I think with Antonio Conte and Tottenham, he has a way, and he takes some diverting from it.
Well, we'll get the team news off you when it arrives, because the teams, thanks very much for John, the teams are coming out at St Mary's. They're coming out everywhere. We can see them in the tunnel at Ellen Road as well. Don't forget, we have 4 second half commentaries for you with those 2 o'clock kickoffs. We're going to go back though to St Mary's for Southampton against Arsenal, where Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. Steve Sidwell is there alongside Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Yeah, just need to see if Southampton can offer a little more in the second half, Juliet, in terms of attacking threat. I'm sure that's what the manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl, is looking for. Just about to get underway in the second half. That red-roofed tunnel being folded back into position beneath us at the bottom of this itching stand. Southampton playing from right to left in the second half towards the chapel stand, away to our left at the St Mary's Stadium. The floodlights flicker into life, a mixture of sort of leaden clouds and white clouds and a bit of blue sky still above as Saka plays a ball back to Saliba. And Saliba only just able to keep that in play, prevent it going out for a corner. Stabs a clearance at it, goes out for a throw to Southampton on the left. So neither manager's made a change at half-time. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal with a win will go 4 points clear of Manchester City, 7 points clear of Tottenham, 12 points clear of Newcastle. Just listening to John Murray there, who's going to be bringing us commentary on Tottenham-Newcastle from 4:30 this afternoon alongside Clinton Morrison. And as Juliet was saying, we'll get the team news from John in just under half an hour. Throwing into that Arsenal penalty area, half cleared. Perraud drives an optimistic shot, couldn't get it on target. Behind it goes for a goal kick. So, yeah, we just want to see a little bit more from Southampton, don't we, Steve Sidwell?
Yeah, exactly. A bit more belief from Southampton. A good start, getting a throw in the final third, getting into the box, getting onto the second balls. A shot, attempted shot at Ramsdale. So a positive start from Southampton this half, but I think just a bit more belief and a bit more urgency, especially in and around the Arsenal 18-yard box.
Arsenal will also want to try and make things a little more comfortable. If you do get a second the way this game has gone so far, you think they'd probably be okay. So that's what they're looking for at the start of the second half, and we know they'll keep coming and keep coming. They want to throw on the right in front of their manager Mikel Arteta. Picks the ball up, gives it to Ben White. Ben White throws it into play. My colleague George Cummins was sitting in on the Mikel Arteta press conference ahead of this game this week, where Mikel Arteta was talking about doing meditation to keep himself calm and give himself a break away from the touchline, because as we've already said, Steve was making the point in the first half, he gets so involved in the action. There he is again as Arsenal lose it and then win the ball back inside their own half, and here's Saliba. So Southampton have Gavin Bazunu in goal. Lianco is playing right back, Romain Perraud at left back, Duj Chileta-Sarr alongside Salisu at centre back. Martinelli running at the pair of them at the moment, lays the ball off to Xhaka on the left. Xhaka's cross hits Lianco, had his arms tucked in. Arsenal sort of half-heartedly, well, I think it was the fans more than the players, appeal for a penalty. It certainly wasn't one. The ball back with Salisu. He plays it to Chileta-Sarr. So El Yunusi wide on the right, Stuart Armstrong wide on the left, James Ward-Prowse and Ibrahima Diallo in central midfield for Southampton, and then Joe Aribo supporting Adam Armstrong up front. Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel Tomiyasu, the back four, Partey and Xhaka in front of them. Bukayo Saka wide on the right, playing on a yellow card, having been booked for simulation in the first half. Ødegaard, Martinelli, but Southampton have won it here off Arsenal. Armstrong was trying to tee himself up for a shot on the edge of the box, Adam Armstrong, and then he just took his eye off the ball. It got away from him, and the chance for now is gone, although he's been able to quickly scurry out to the right to regain possession for Southampton. Ødegaard and Martinelli just to finish that Arsenal team in behind. Gabriel Jesus. So here's Ward-Prowse. Nice threaded pass to El Yunusi. Gabriel will get there first and thump the ball into the stands for a Southampton throw. Early check-in at Molineux's second half. Lee Blakeman.
Yeah, still Wolves 0, Leicester 2. Wolves so close to getting back into this one, though. Neves, free kick, 20 yards out. How many of those have we seen find the back of the net? This time, just wide of the bottom corner. But Wolves pressing again here. Still Wolves 0, Leicester 2.
Southampton waiting to take an attacking throw. Lianco's picked up a grey towel there to dry any excess moisture off the ball so he can get the grip. Plants his feet, launches it into the near post. Gabriel heads it away, then volleyed away by Martinelli. Jesus at full tilt, chases with Perraud. Perraud knocks it out for an Arsenal throw. Quickly to Ellen Rowe, Chris Coles.
Leeds 1, Fulham 1. Big 45 minutes ahead for Jesse Marsh. His team lost control at the back end of the first half. Crowd were getting restless, but they have started this second half well. Aronson bending a presentable chance just over the crossbar. Next goal crucial. If Fulham get it, this feels like a crowd ready to turn. Leeds 1, Fulham 1.
Next goal crucial here too, Chris. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Commentary of those two games you just heard from continues online. Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
It's still Aston Villa 3, Brentford 0. It's almost an hour on the clock since Villa last scored. What's going on here? But they were rampant in that first half, and Thomas Frank has responded for Brentford. He's brought on Canos to see if he can add some much needed bite. It's Villa 3, Brentford 0.
Commentary on that one over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. So 5 minutes gone in the second half here on 5 Live. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Ward-Prowse plays a ball back to Bazunu. You could see the water coming up off the pitch there as Ward-Prowse played the ball back, so it's had a good soak in it at half-time. Xhaka lobs it up in the air. Partey volleys it forward straight through to the Southampton keeper, Steve Sidwell.
Just before we've done the rounds there to the grounds, every long throw that Southampton have done, credit to Arsenal, they have dealt with every single long throw that's come into that box. They've made first contact, whether that's Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba, Tomiyasu. They've won and they've cleared the lines every single time. Brilliant defensive display from Arsenal today.
Here is Saliba turning away from Aribo inside his own half. Can't quite get away from him, so plays a ball back to his goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale, all in yellow. Just having a word with his defenders as well, telling them to slow it down and calm down. They've got the lead, let's not rush, he's saying. Ramsdale plays it to his left to Gabriel. Gabriel comes slowly marching forward with the ball. Cross to Saliba. Saliba at a jog inside his own half to Partey. Now Southampton are interested in some defensive action. Xhaka flicks it on to Tomiyasu. Xhaka's continued a good run down the left. He's going to get to that ball first ahead of Chileta Sarr, off balance with the cross. He can only drill it behind for a Southampton goal kick.
Another good driving run from Xhaka. He stayed down as you saw. Did he get a whack there? Good intensity though to get in behind and break lines. Just what Arsenal needed and just what his game needed, really, isn't it? It was getting a little bit stale just even for a couple of minutes there after this break.
He's just holding his right shoulder here, Steve, so as he's hit the cross off balance, I think he might have landed, he's landed hard on his right arm, picked himself up and feeling a little bit sore. He's the goal scorer, and that's why Arsenal lead at the moment. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. So Villa Brentford over on Sports Extra. If you're an NFL fan, 9 o'clock tonight, Seattle Seahawks at the Los Angeles Chargers is your NFL commentary. Obviously, if you're a cricket fan, you'll have heard India beating Pakistan in a thriller in the World T20 this afternoon. 2 more games tomorrow for you on Sports Extra, as well as Xhaka stretches, can't control a ball. Lianco comes steaming forward down the right for Southampton, and now it goes for a throw-in to the home team. So Bangladesh against the Netherlands, 4:45 tomorrow morning on Sports Extra. South Africa, Zimbabwe. Coverage starts at 8:45. Throw in Southampton. Sky's darkening a little. Feels like there might be a little bit of rain on the way as Lianco has got a long throw. Aims for Aribo. Aribo's tackled, goes out for another Southampton throw, and I imagine Lianco's going to go again for the big one into the Arsenal box.
Yeah, we'll see how Arsenal deal with this one. They've been superb so far in dealing with it. Am I going to have the commentator's curse where Southampton get the first contact?
Well, you had the reverse of that in the first half, Steve, with Xhaka, because you were saying what great positions he was getting into, and then a second later he scored. So let's see if Steve has got this one right. Arsenal have dealt with these okay so far. They know what's coming. Gabriel won the last header last time. He's there. Saliba's there. Partey's there. Throw-in comes a little shorter. Aribo tries to flick it on. Gabriel collects. skies a clearance miles in the air. Martinelli sticks out a leg, can't control it, but he is able to head the bouncing ball down to Jesus. Chileta Sarr in with a header. El Yunusi has caught Partey just inside the Arsenal half. High foot, free kick to Arsenal. They lead 1-0.
You just feel like with Southampton in possession, you just don't know what their plan is. At the moment, the only joy they're getting is from either long throws that they're trying to get on the knockdowns to, or set pieces from corners. When they're in possession, you don't feel like, right, we're going to spring out from attack and we're going to attack 1v1s. It seems very slow, and we'll try and get possession and work our way through the third, and it's just not really happening.
5 points from 5 home games so far this season for Southampton. Only Nottingham Forest have a worse record than that at home so far this season. Although that, of course, was ahead of the win for Nottingham Forest yesterday. So Southampton now with the worst, trailing here 1-0. Ball with Bazunu. Jesus went down. Long ball played towards him. He was hoping for a free kick. Didn't get the decision. He's just standing off Bazunu now, and Bazunu eventually picks the ball up and just rolls it to the feet of Chileta Sarr. Edge of his own penalty area. Played to Diallo. Diallo across to Lianco. Lianco, good example of what Steve was talking about, but this time that's a better ball to Adam Armstrong. Armstrong has got Gabriel backpedaling, looks up. Now, can he find a teammate in the middle? Tries to get the cross in. It's blocked and goes behind for a Southampton corner.
Well, that's better, isn't it? I mean, Lianco on that right-hand side, it was a lofted ball into the channel, but Armstrong made the run and got on the end of it, and they've got another corner. So we know where this is probably going to go, on the 6-yard box where the crowd of people are. It looks like a bus stop.
Yes. Ariba will start a run from the penalty spot. Salisu is there. Chileta Sarr is forward. Lianco is forward. Armstrong and El Yunusi making a nuisance of themselves for Southampton in that Arsenal 6-yard box. Can James Ward-Prowse pick out a teammate? Away swinger. Ramsdale stays on his line. Chileta Sarr jumps, misses the header, comes out to the left. Perraud, another cross comes back in. Arsenal have dealt with it for now. Ødegaard gets his left leg up high. Gabriel's down, hurt, holding his head, kicking his legs on the floor. The referee is going to have to stop the game. And Salisu is also down, holding his head for Southampton. So I imagine one of those crosses, the pair jumped and clashed heads.
What a great ball that was from Perraud there. And he literally wrapped his foot around it. Superb defending again from the Arsenal centre half, but just seeing the replay now, it was a clash of heads, yes. Both going for the ball, genuine attempt to go for the ball.
Yeah, hopefully both going to be okay. While we have the break in play, Steve, important question for you. Often features on a weekend commentary. We do something on a Friday afternoon in the Drive programme with Tony Livesey and Claire McDonald called Fact of the Day. So me, John Murray, Ian Dennis get given questions that we have to try and find the answers to. We then slot those answers into the commentary. I'll come back to this in a second, because there's been a chance at Ellen Road. Chris Coles.
Chance for Leeds. Still 1-1 with Fulham. Leno has just played a suicidal ball out of defence that Rodrigo can't quite capitalise on. The chance for Leeds, Luke Ayling on his first start of the season, left foot shot from the edge of the penalty area, only a couple of yards wide, but you can hear what it's done to the crowd. Leeds 1, Fulham 1.
Thank you, Chris. And as you can see, Steve, they're never the easiest to fit into commentary, so I'll go quickly. The question I was asked on Friday by Tony was, did I know the literal translation of Ralph Hasenhüttl's surname? So Hasenhüttl in Austrian, is it A, hen house, B, Otterholt, or C, rabbit hutch?
Wow.
So you're guessing.
I mean, I'm going to have to go something. I'm going to go C.
He's done it. He's done it.
Really?
Correct. Rabbit hutch. Correct. Well done, Steve Sidwell. You can come again. Ralph Rabbit Hutch would be the literal translation of Ralph Hasenhüttl's surname. Back underway here at the St Mary's Stadium. 12.5 minutes played. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Salisu down the line to Perraud. Perraud, nice little 1-2 with Aribo. Better from Southampton. Here's Perraud. Oh, he slipped there trying to get past Ben White for a second time. Saliba back, clears with his right foot, and out it goes for a throw into Southampton.
Much better though, isn't it? Drawing the Arsenal players in, tight 1-2 combination plays. You can see what they're trying to do now, Southampton. More of it, please.
Yeah, better again down the left from Salisu to Armstrong. That's a good ball. Oh, and very nearly El Yunusi gets the touch at the far post. Stuck a foot out, didn't make contact, and Martinelli comes away with the ball and immediately zips up to the halfway line. 13 minutes gone in the second half. So Arsenal by no means safe in the game. League leaders going 4 points clear with a win this afternoon, and they are leading Southampton by a goal to nil, but you can see again Mikel Arteta not entirely happy with the way things are panning out. And last week in the second half, Leeds gave Arsenal a real run for their money. Are Southampton going to do the same this afternoon? Ramsdale under pressure from Aribo, who blocks the clearance. Away it goes for an Arsenal throw.
Ralph Hasenhüttl there giving a round of applause. The crowd are getting on top of it now. This creates the atmosphere, creates the environment. It's poor play from Arsenal. They could have been doing stuff much quicker. They brought problems on themselves.
Throwing for Arsenal, right back position, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Ben White's just taking his time. Socks rolled above the knee. Throw in down the right-hand touchline. Salisu too strong for Jesus. Ward-Prowse lays it off. Oh, Jesus in like a flash on Diallo. And here come Arsenal. Ødegaard. Oh, he could get Jesus away through the middle. El Yunusi's chasing. Jesus has it, though. Through one-on-one. Hits the shot. The shot is blocked. And El Yunusi does brilliantly for Southampton. Corner to Arsenal.
Well, that comes just at the sheer intensity of working and winning the ball back from Arsenal in the middle of the pitch. And then they break. And Ødegaard just slips Jesus in. He tries to get away from El Yunusi. He doesn't really get the ball out of his feet, and lack of conviction in the shot. And El Yunusi there recovers really well, but you didn't feel that Jesus ever had control in that attack.
Corner then for Arsenal. Leading 1-0. Attacking the goal away to our right in change kit this afternoon, all in black. Saka and Ødegaard lurking on the edge of the box. This one goes into the 6-yard box. Now bounces loose. Saka drives it, slices it well wide. Screams in frustration. And that's a goal kick for Southampton. To Molineux, Lee Blakeman.
Wolves 0, Leicester 2. Wolves must be wondering how they've not scored in this game. Podence fired wide from the edge of the area a few moments ago. Costa has headed a corner over the crossbar. Leicester have just made a triple change. Vardy, Mendy and Pratt all on. Just over an hour played. Wolves 0, Leicester 2.
Another goal at Villa Park this afternoon. Pat Murphy.
Another one to Aston Villa. And it's been scored by Ollie Watkins, but all the plaudits are going to Leon Bailey. A magnificent old-fashioned winger's run, 60 yards, superb pass across the face of the goal with his left foot. There was Ings, brilliant save from David Raya. Follow-up shot from Watkins. Raya tipped it onto the post. Watkins didn't give up, buried it with his left foot. Magnificent goal, really. Breakaway goal in excelsis. Well played, Bailey. Villa 4, Brentford 0.
Remarkable. Rewind 3 days, getting stuffed 3-0 at Craven Cottage, and there we are this afternoon, live on 5 Live. Aston Villa thumping Brentford by 4 goals to 0. Ramsdale comes racing out of his penalty area, gives that clearance everything with his right foot. Chaleta Sarr heads it away. The ball drops to Ødegaard inside the Southampton half. We're into the last half hour of this one now. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal trying to make it 10 wins in 11 Premier League games at the start of this season. The only defeat, that 3-1 loss away to Manchester United so far. Here's Xhaka. Xhaka on the left, outside of his left foot, curls a pass back into the Arsenal half. Saliba comes striding forward. Low ball to the right to Ødegaard. Just casually lays it off to Ben White. White back to Saliba. Aribo comes jogging towards him. He plays to Gabriel. Gabriel quickly gets it away to Tomiyasu. Now to Xhaka. Bit of space for Xhaka to try and find Jesus, making the run through the middle. The ball not good enough to find him.
Again, that's that position just on Ward-Prowse's shoulder, where Ward-Prowse can't go out too early. So Xhaka gets time and space to get his head up and just lack that little bit of quality. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to whip it around the centre half of Southampton's defender into Jesus, but just didn't come off that time.
Steve Sidwell with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this afternoon. 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. Arsenal leading Southampton by a goal to 0. Salisu taking his time, plays the ball up to the halfway line. Ben White puts the challenge in, but the flag's up for an offside. So Arsenal get the free kick. And Mikel Arteta manages to grab a quick word with Ben White as well. Not entirely happy with the second half performance so far. But Arsenal still have the lead, and Southampton yet to really test Aaron Ramsdale. Here's Tomiyasu. Gabriel's pulled away to the left. Goal at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
And that's probably game over. Wolves 0, Leicester 3. Maddison on his return from suspension. Shot, edge of the area, hard and low, bottom corner. His 6th of the season. Wolves 0, Leicester 3.
So it looks like it's going to be back-to-back wins for Leicester after the Thursday night win against Leeds United. Things looking much more rosy for them. Jesus down hurt. Southampton continue play. Ball goes out of play though. Lianco was driving down the right. It gets away from him. Throw into Arsenal, and Jesus is back on his feet. And Mikel Arteta, I wonder if he's possibly thinking about changes at the moment.
Well, I mean, they've had a lot of games, haven't they? They've played Europa on Thursday. With some freshness out there. He can afford to do that now with the squad that he's got.
Yeah, Eddie Nketiah, Fabio Vieira, Lokonga on the bench, Marquinhos as well, who's already featured this season. Saka's trip, free kick Arsenal. Ball just inside the Southampton half. Ødegaard comes running in to take it, plays it to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu popping up in central midfield at times, as we've seen him do. Here he is again. Gabriel wide on his left. Tomiyasu plays infield to Partey, just inside the Southampton half. Lovely ball through to Xhaka. Xhaka's pass deflected. Saka thought he might be able to get there, but it balloons up in the air, bounces once, and Bazunu, the Southampton keeper, is able to grab it.
It's just a real lack of momentum, isn't it, from both teams in terms of sustaining.
To end, but yes, without the sort of cutting edge in the final thirds. Good step over from Aribo, let the ball run here to Perro. Armstrong making a run, that's Adam Armstrong through the middle, but they go to the right instead to El Yunusi, goes dribbling here at Tomiyasu, slurs it to Armstrong! Brilliant equaliser from Southampton. Wonderful team move, the length of the pitch, and the league leaders Arsenal will get tested this afternoon. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1.
It's probably one of the first times in this game that Southampton have broke with a real intensity and belief that they can get a shot off at least at Ramsdale. They work it so well from one side of the pitch to the other, especially Stuart Armstrong down the left-hand side. He dribbles in and he finds his way back in to the box. They work it really well. I don't know who slips him back in, but the intensity first of all from Armstrong to come inside, and then Arsenal got a good shape. It's a lovely slip ball and a delightful shot right across Ramsdale into the far corner.
Yeah, it's El Yunusi who comes up on the right-hand side like a train there. Perro plays it to El Yunusi, and it's a lovely little straight ball between two Arsenal defenders, and it sets it up perfectly to roll it across the keeper into the bottom corner. I mean, that's the kind of goal Arsenal have been scoring all season. That was brilliant.
They literally cut Arsenal to shreds there, but because it was fast-paced, good counter-attacking football where they had numbers and intensity. That was the key word there, intensity at that play.
Well, a couple of weeks ago I watched Arsenal-Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal went 1-0 up, got pegged back, went 2-1 up, got pegged back to 2-2, eventually won it by 3-2. 25 minutes here now. Southampton will be thinking they might try and win it. And what's Mikel Arteta thinking at the moment? Southampton 1, Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 4, Brentford 0. Commentary on that one on Sports Extra at the moment, and the other two games, the 2 o'clock kickoffs, available as commentaries online. Leeds 1, Fulham 1, Leicester looking very comfortable at Molineux, Wolves 0, Leicester 3. Tottenham Newcastle commentary on the way here on 5 Live. Game will kick off at 4:30. Here's Tomiyasu running into trouble. Tackled by El Yunusi. Tomiyasu's going to have to foul him, but can't do that. El Yunusi gets away. Tomiyasu back at him. Still El Yunusi on the right. He's got support behind if you can find it. Adam Armstrong is there. El Yunusi holds on, plays it back to Ward-Prowse. Early low cross. Partey clears. That hits Stuart Armstrong. And the ball spins to El Yunusi on the right, and Arsenal under a bit of pressure. And here's Ward-Prowse again, cross in, no one there for Southampton. Not a great header from Saliba though. Perro flicks it over his own shoulder, drives a left-footed curling shot. That is only just wide and behind for a goal kick. Let's get to Ellen Road. Chris Coles.
Another big chance for Leeds, still 1-1 with Fulham, but Patrick Bamford only just on as a sub. Was really starved of time in the penalty area. Ball played to him, good touch out of his feet, but Leno was on top of him so quickly to make the save and smother. Good game, 25 minutes to go. Leeds 1, Fulham 1.
Yeah, this one too, midway through the second half. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Stuart Armstrong with the equaliser for Southampton, and a bit of optimism in the stands here, Steve, at the moment.
Yeah, there certainly is now. The home fans with the team now. Perro there, a good chance there, wasn't it? You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to just cut the volley across, come across it and bring it start it outside the post and bring it back in just a yard or two wide of the goal.
that technique, that skill, the one I'd liken it to is the one that Pavard scored for France against Argentina in the World Cup, where they cut across it. And I think you lot will always say with a bit of swaz.
Bit of swaz, bit of cut. That's it. I mean, to be fair, if you start it outside the goal, then the keeper's got no chance of getting there, is it? Especially if you catch it right and the timing's right. And they look lovely as well, especially when you stand behind it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Ben White to Partey. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Ødegaard to White. White's ball forward. Blocked. Throw in to Southampton because the last touch came off Ben White. So, again, similar to last week, second half, Leeds tested Arsenal. They couldn't score. Southampton have scored. Changes coming for Mikel Arteta. Haven't had a draw yet this season, of course. Arsenal, 9 wins, the 1 defeat. Might even be triple change. Kieran Tierney is down there and Nketiah is down there. Southampton have taken the throw. Here's Perraud to Armstrong. Oh, that was nearly worked well down the left, but Arsenal play out brilliantly in tight spaces. Good tackle from Diallo on Ødegaard. Trod on Ødegaard afterwards. He's hurt. Play continues. Armstrong to Perraud. Cross blocked. Corner for Southampton.
Yeah, Diallo there won the ball back off Ødegaard, and then they attacked. That final bit of quality, but another corner, and we know what Ward-Prowse can do.
Had enough chances this afternoon. They have had plenty of corners. Ødegaard's okay, and to his credit, Ibrahima Diallo was aware of what he'd done there. Didn't do it deliberately, trod on him, went to check he was okay, and Ødegaard is back on his feet and is going into that Arsenal penalty area to defend the corner. 24 minutes played in the second half. 5 Live and BBC Sounds on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. And Mikel Arteta has a hand on the shoulders of Tierney and Nketiah as they get ready to come on. Deep corner from Ward-Prowse to the far post. Saliba decides to head that. Might have gone out and behind for a goal kick. Lianco with an overhead kick, which has turned into a crossfield pass to James Ward-Prowse. That is what Brazilian centre-backs do, of course. Here's Stuart Armstrong, gets the back heel from Ward-Prowse. Perraud, cut back here to Aribo. Trying to make space, hits the shot, and Ramsdale gets there just in time. You thought it might squeeze through his legs, but he got the gloves there in time.
Well, a good overload on this left-hand side, and Perraud finds a ball in the middle to Aribo. Try to just get half a yard or any kind of movement to get a shot. There's so many bodies in there, and he finds his way straight down to the throat of Ramsdale.
Right, Jesus down, wins a free kick in the centre circle. Chaleta Sarr was challenging him for the ball. Arsenal getting ready to make the double change. So Tierney and Nketiah will come on for Arsenal. Let's wait and see who's going to come off. Final instructions given by the manager. So first up, coming off is Gabriel Martinelli for Nketiah. So you're going to have Nketiah, Jesus and Saka as Arsenal's front three, and Ben White is coming off for Tierney. So Tomiyasu will come to the right-hand side and Tierney will play in the left-back role. Villa 4, Brentford 0, Leeds 1, Fulham 1, Leicester 3 up at Wolves. And commentary on Tottenham, Newcastle on the way here on 5 Live this afternoon. Free kick then for Arsenal in the centre circle. Xhaka comes back to take it because he's going to send Saliba and Gabriel forward because Arsenal want the win. They want to stretch their lead back to 4 points over Manchester City at the top of the Premier League table. And Nketiah has stayed wide and Saka has stayed wide. And the Arsenal front line is completely spread across the line of the edge of the Southampton penalty area. Xhaka hits the diagonal. He's looking for Gabriel, who's beaten in the air. Tierney's first touch is to try and win a 50-50. His second touch is to hoist the ball skywards. Lianco heads it away. Tierney comes forward. Brilliant first touch, but Lianco is there to cover it for Southampton. And his clearance hits Tierney, and it goes behind for a Southampton goal kick. Steve Sidwell.
Well, the crowd like that. The crowd like that a lot. Lianco there, getting the crowd up behind. I think there's going to be a reaction here from Ralph Hasenhüttl, bringing on subs to counter what Mikel Arteta has just done.
Yeah, Shea Adams about to come on for Southampton. Good chance, though, to get the team news on our second commentary from the Premier League this afternoon on 5 Live. That is going to be Tottenham Newcastle. Here's John Murray.
Well, Tottenham are much changed after their defeat at Old Trafford. Christian Romero and Højbjerg are both absent with minor injuries. Davis, Doherty and Perisic drop to the bench. So Sanchez and Longley come in either side of Dyer. Emerson back from suspension and Sessegnon are wing backs and Skip is into the midfield. So Antonio Conte making 5 changes. Joe Linton is fit to play for Newcastle, so just the one change for them, which is Willock in for Murphy.
Thank you, John. Looking forward to listening to that one on the way home this afternoon. John in the company of Clinton Morrison for Tottenham Newcastle. Jesus trying to chest the ball down, and Nketiah blocks it. Bounces into the Southampton box, and Bazunu off his line to grab it for Southampton. Now, the players to come on there were Shea Adams, top scorer, and Theo Walcott, actually, who's making a first appearance of the season for Southampton. I saw Aribo come off. Who was the other one to come off, Steve?
Aribo, and it was Adam Armstrong come off.
Adam Armstrong, so that's a straight swap, and Adams immediately involved. Chests the ball down. Oh, El Yunusi does well because he sprayed a half-volley pass to the right, and El Yunusi had to really slide to keep that in play. So Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Andy Gillies has just passed me the stat that Arsenal have not had a draw in their last 31 games, not had a score draw in the last 49 games, and here we are at the moment. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. It suggests, well, if you're going to go by the stats, we might just get another goal. Loose pass from Salisu. Armstrong there just in time for Southampton. Half caught by Jesus. I think he's going to be okay. Just over 15 minutes to play. Lianco toward Prowse. Little 1-2 inside the Southampton half. Chaleta Sarr plays it to the right to Lianco. And if Southampton do get a positive result out of this game, they'll just be unbeaten in their last 3 games, which will be an improvement on what the Southampton fans have seen so far this season. Goal at Ellen Road, important one. Chris Coles.
Trouble for Leeds and Jesse Marsh, because from 1-0 down, Fulham are 2-1 up. Leeds undone by yet another set piece. The initial corner was cleared, but Leeds didn't deal with the second ball. It was played back in, and Bobby deckled over Reed, darted across his marker, guided his header into the bottom corner, and spells big trouble for Jesse Marsh. Leeds 1, Fulham 2.
OK, keeping an eye on that one then for the last 15 minutes or so. Kieran Tierney is just on the pitch. Now he's down hurt because he's been caught by Theo Walcott. Free kick has been given. And we're just going to get a little stoppage in play while Tierney lifts himself to his feet, and James Beattie's away.
I'm really surprised that how Arsenal have just come off, they sort of kind of took their foot off the gas, haven't they, in the second half. Is it similar to, you've done their game last week against Leeds in the second half? Is it similarities to that? It just seems like the game's been too easy for them. They've just dropped their standards.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, Stephen. I just think the relentless schedule that you mentioned, so playing PSV on Thursday, and yes, Mikel Arteta's been rotating, but he wants to win that group to immediately get through to the last 16. And I thought last week's second half there were just a few signs of tiredness. Now, Nketiah is trying to win it off Lianco here, high up the field on the left-hand side. Lianco, having had an overhead kick this afternoon, decides to scoop it up to himself, volley it away, but he's given the ball away. And here's Xhaka to Tomiyasu. Saka's going to start to make a run. Then he stops, comes back towards Tomiyasu, trying to turn Perro here. Perro's got a hold of his shirt. Oh, Saka's done brilliantly to hold him off. Still going, good run. Eventually, Diallo blocks him. There was a few fouls on Saka there, which the referee tried to play advantage for. Saka back to win it for Arsenal, and does win a throw on the right, and you can see Mikel Arteta in the back room so furious that Saka didn't get a free kick.
Even the backroom staff, there was drinks going flying there. The fourth official was getting an absolute ear bashing. They're furious, and it was a foul. I thought it was a foul. He done so well to wriggle out of that, Saka, but again, I think where it just progressed so far and he wriggled away from it, it was too late to call the foul back.
So Leeds, having been 1 in front this afternoon, 2-1 down against Fulham. Here it is Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Arsenal attacking down the left. Tierney back to Xhaka. Low cross comes into the box. Runs between Jesus and Saka. Jesus is going to chase hard to keep it in. He will keep it in right under the nose of the assistant referee. Teetering right on the edge of the line. Ball with Ødegaard. Curling cross to the far post. Tierney tries to get the header down. He's gone down holding his head. Play continues. Tierney's down behind the goal line, and Theo Walcott at full tilt brings it up to the halfway line for Southampton on the right. Now Tierney's off the field here, but he's holding his face. He was challenging for a header at the far post. He's getting booed and jeered by the Southampton fans. Arsenal fans booing because they feel the game should have been stopped. Tierney slowly getting to his feet. Mikel Arteta is absolutely losing his mind on the sidelines. Goal at Molineux, Lee Blakeman.
Our fourth for Leicester. Jamie Vardy with his first of the season as well. Castagna's ball in from the right. Vardy with a tap in inside the 6 yards area. It's all over now. Wolves 0, Leicester 4.
So thumping wins for Villa and Leicester this afternoon, but Jesse Marsh's Leeds 2-1 down at home to Fulham. Referees coming over to the monitor. What, to have a look at the challenge on Tierney for a potential penalty, you think?
I think so. Or he's coming over to talk to Mikel Arteta.
Oh yeah, no, that's what it is. I think yellow card for a member of Mikel Arteta's coaching staff, nothing to do with the monitor.
I think the incident with Kieran Tierney, I think it looked like it was a flaying arm, because they was both going for the ball at the far post, and I don't know who was at the fullback, whether it was Lienko or not, but there was just a flaying arm that maybe just brushed Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, which is painful. If you get one in the eye, it is painful, which is why Tierney went down like he did. But that's also why no penalty has been given, and I think it was the kind of hysterical histrionics in the technical area that the referee took exception to. Of course, he would have been advised of that by the fourth official, Thomas Bramall. So still 1-1, 12 minutes to go. Game right in the balance. Come on, Arsenal, from the away end to our right. Xhaka has been the match winner in the Premier League in the last couple of games. He's played the ball back into the Arsenal half. Saliba gives it to Xhaka, who's come deep. Run on the left from Tierney, floated past to him, heads it beyond El Yunusi, chests it down, good run by Tierney, holds his ground, slides it back, Ødegaard, brilliant finish, goodness me, Kieran Tierney did so well, but it won't count because the assistant referee has decided that the ball crossed the goal line and it should be a goal kick. It will be checked. Tierney did wonderfully well, he may not quite have been able to keep that in. Ødegaard followed up, thumping finish. It looks like it's going to be no goal. Steve, you've seen it.
I think on the replay it does go out. Tierney does ever so well. It's a big sweeping diagonal ball over to Tierney, who heads it past, I think it was Lienko at fullback, and his touch just took him too far. He tried to get on the end of it. The ball went out probably just half a yard. He pulled it back to Ødegaard, who thumped it in the back of the net. I'm just watching the replay now, and it does. It just creeps over the line.
Yep, good call, right decision, still 1-1. Samuel Edozie, 19 years old, one of those players who joined from Manchester City in the summer, is on for Southampton. He's replaced the goal scorer Stuart Armstrong, young lad born in Lewisham, started his career at Millwall, moved to Manchester City 2019. Now here he is as a Southampton player, fifth substitute appearance in the Premier League for him. He will help Shea Adams up front. I tell you what, he's going to chase this one with Saliba. Gets his body in the way. Nearly found Shea Adams with the through ball. Instead, it's in the arms of Aaron Ramsdale. Urgency from both teams with 10 minutes to play here on 5 Live and BBC Sound. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Leeds 1, Fulham 2 at Ellen Road. Commentary of that one online, available via the BBC Sport website. Villa 4, Brentford 0 over on Sports Extra. Wolves 0, Leicester 4. Also a commentary online. Here's Tierney, just keeps it in play, and this time he does. Inside his own half, plays it to Gabriel. Here's Partey. Partey going with the long one. Long diagonal up towards Jesus. Lets that bounce. Shaletta Tsar breathing down his neck. Keeps it for Arsenal. Moves away from the Southampton centre-back. Help from Nketiah, who plays it back to Xhaka. Across to Partey. 40 yards from goal in a central position. Low ball to his right to Xhaka. Xhaka to Tomiyasu. Back to Partey. Southampton's defensive shield just forcing Arsenal back towards the halfway line. Now Gabriel creeping forward, looking for an option, slides one through to Nketiah, evades one challenge, back to Partey. Difficult to play through this. Ødegaard, little trick, play to Nketiah, drags it wide, wants a corner, doesn't get it. Appeals to the assistant referee, who says corner, so will get it.
Ødegaard again was near the middle of it all. Just when he picks up that little pocket, gets half a yard, he comes off the Southampton defence, and then he's waiting for someone just to run him behind. Then he sent Nketiah this time, he finds him, and Nketiah tries to drag his shot into the far corner. It does take a little nick.
Fabio Vieira waiting to come on for Arsenal into the last 10 minutes here. 1-1, Ødegaard's corner. Xhaka with a flick on behind Gabriel Jesus. Picked up by Diallo. Diallo pushes a ball down the line. Perraud still has energy. Steps inside Saliba. Up to the halfway line. Wants the run of Walcott here. It's Walcott against Xhaka. Corner of the Arsenal box. Offside. Steve Sidwell's waving the flag.
And he was just trying to cheat and just trying to get on the wrong side of Gabriel there.
Ødegaard's coming off, Steve, for Vieira. I mean, Vieira does a similar job, doesn't he? I can see that.
Yeah, obviously that quality that Ødegaard possesses, you can see he's in there today. He's not just come off. He looks disappointed to come off it. And saying that, he absolutely looks shattered as well. So that's what Mikel Arteta can do now in terms of protecting his players. But he still looks to trying to get this win today.
Draw for Arsenal as it stands would take them 2 points clear of Manchester City. Such a shame that Arsenal City game that would have been played recently got postponed. We've still got those two head-to-heads to come this season. Arsenal away to PSV on Thursday. I mean, their fixture is still ram-jammed running into the World Cup. If they can get themselves a point in that game, that will guarantee them winning the group and will immediately take them through to the last 16. So that has an importance for them as well. Stoppage in play. Southampton player who I can't see at the moment, being shielded by the medical staff. It's Lianco is down, just recovering from a knock. 7 minutes to go and it's still 1-1.
Been impressed with him, Lianco, today. Defensively, you know, shows aggression, shows intent to win the ball back and tries to get forward and push his team forward as well. He's got the Brazilian flair for sure.
There's a couple of bits of that we've seen in the second half. Just as we wait to get back underway, let's check in at Ellen Road. Chris Coles.
7 minutes to play. Leeds 1, Fulham 2. As Fulham come on the attack again, they could wrap it up, and they have. Willian taps in. Listen to the boos around Ellen Road. It's another calamitous afternoon for Jesse Marsch. This will be his 4th defeat in a row. Leeds will be 8 without a win. They'll drop into the relegation zone for the first time this season. Willian makes sure of the points for Fulham. Leeds 1, Fulham 3.
2 points in the last 8 games. Trouble for Jesse Marsch. Post-match reaction to follow on 5 Live this afternoon. Will also be available in the Football Daily podcast for you later on tonight, first thing tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. Shea Adams outnumbered. But here's Perraud. Perraud knocks it into Saliba, goes behind for a Southampton corner. James Ward-Prowse immediately marches purposely towards that corner flag.
Yeah, as he's walking to the corner flag, he just had a little word with Shea Adams there, so keep an eye on this, where Shea Adams' movement is, whether he's going to really whip it towards the near post. He definitely said some words there to Shea Adams, so...
OK, keep an eye on Shea Adams. Can Southampton nick a win? Arsenal have lost the 1 game so far this season of the 10 they've played in the Premier League. That was away at Manchester United. Here it's 1-1, 6 minutes to play. Southampton corner, Ward-Prowse just beneath us. Good delivery as always. Oh, good header away from Gabriel as well. Headed straight up in the air. Jesus wins the next header. Fabio Vieira waits for that to come down. Edozie for Southampton holds him off and turns and is able to toe poke a ball to El Younousi. El Younousi plays it to Walcott. Walcott's cross. Edozie ducks underneath it and Tierney flicks it up in the air and volleys it away. Saka will give chase. Still giving it his all. Salisu underneath it. Now that's an interesting overhead kick right across the halfway line. Ward-Prowse does his teammate a favour, gets his body in the way, knocks it back to Chaleta Tsar. Lianco to Ward-Prowse. Wide on the right is El Younousi. You've got Adams, Edozie, Perraud and Walcott all making runs forward here. Southampton going for the win late on.
This game is here to be won. This Arsenal team is fatiguing for sure. Southampton, that burn in their chest, they need to make it just work and make it happen. It's going to be hard, the hard yards, but the 3 points are there for the taking, you feel.
Arsenal trying to come on the counter. Southampton stop it quickly. Foul on Fabio Vieira, just short of the centre circle. Heard the reaction of those Leeds fans. I'm sure Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage would like to hear from the Leeds fans this evening on 6:06. So after our commentary on Tottenham Newcastle, Chris and Robbie taking the calls through until 7:45 tonight. If you've not dialed the show before, your number to dial 08085 909 693, and then coverage of the US Grand Prix. Follow 6:06 at 7:45 this evening. 4 minutes to play. Is it going to be Arsenal's first draw of the season and first draw in a long time? Gabriel across to Saliba. I remember Gabriel scoring a late winner earlier this season. 86th minute that came against Fulham for Arsenal. Might be a Southampton winner though here. Edozie dribbling again at tired Arsenal defenders. Tomiyasu somehow gets a block on it. Vieira plays it across to Gabriel. Gabriel walking forward inside his own half. Doesn't see a runner. Rolls it to Xhaka. And Nketiah starts to make a run down the left. Tierney though picks up for Arsenal. Hits that pass with pace down the left. And Nketiah tries to dribble in field. Stopped in his tracks and Ward-Prowse flicks it back to Walcott. Walcott inside his own half. Back to Lianco. Lianco thought about the pass to Chaleta Tsar, decided against it, holds on to it and now plays it. 3 minutes to go, still 1-1. And the ball with the Southampton keeper, Gavin Bazunu. To Salisu. Salisu looks for a ball downfield. Tomiyasu stoops and wins a header. Now this might open up for Arsenal. Partey if he can pick a pass. No, he can't. He's lost it to Ward-Prowse. Quickly gives it to Shea Adams. Run from Diallo through the middle. Adams plays it to his left to Edozie. Adams then makes the run on the left. Edozie looked like he might have turned into trouble. Has done well. Had the presence of mind to wriggle out of it and finds Lianco. Lianco plays to his right. And El Younousi. El Younousi back to Ward-Prowse.
You definitely felt there's a bit of fatigue out there. You can see it, the recovery runs are a little bit slower. There's a few mistakes happening now.
Here's Salisu on the left. Edozie challenged. Arsenal have players in the way. This breaks nicely for Perro. He's on. No, he's not. He's offside. He's offside. Flag went up immediately. Free kick for Arsenal inside their own half on the right. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Leeds at the moment heading for defeat. Last we heard, trailing Fulham by 2-1 at Ellen Road. Aston Villa, first game since the departure of Steven Gerrard, thumping Brentford by 4-0. Leicester thumping Wolves at Molineux by 4-0 this afternoon. Here's Gabriel. Cross to Saliba. Saliba inside his own half. Xhaka right beside him, says give it to me. Xhaka striding into the Southampton half. Low ball into the feet of Jesus. Can't turn away from Shalata Sarr. Wins it and keeps it. Then plays a good pass to Walcott. Shea Adams starts to make the run. Walcott tries to dribble. It's gone down easily there. Yes. Theo Walcott in the book for a dive. Went for the dribble, kept possession, knew he'd lost it, and decided to try and kid the referee. Yellow card for diving.
Yeah, I mean, he picked up the ball when he's driving away, but he was isolated, wasn't he? He had 3 or 4 Arsenal players around him. He knew that he couldn't get away from him. Back in the day, he probably could have done. He had electric pace, but tried to draw that foul in and buy the foul. But a good call there from the referee today, Robert Jones.
Yeah, 90th minute now. 1-1. Steve Sidwell alongside me at the St Mary's Stadium. Full-time reports on the way. Full commentary on Tottenham Newcastle to come then. 6:06. Simulation game, part of the show this evening, as it's been for a few seasons now. Theo Walcott joining the club. Right, are we going to get a late winner? Xhaka. Forward to Nketiah. Back to Xhaka. Up to Jesus. Laid off to Nketiah. Neat from Arsenal. Wide to Tierney. Couple of white shirts move quickly towards him to try and stop him getting the crossing. Xhaka's straight ball up to Nketiah. Can't quite hold it up for Arsenal with his back to goal on the edge of the box. Will Southampton be able to counter? Not like that. Ward-Prowse passes it straight out of play, throwing to Arsenal on the left.
There's just no outlet, is there, when they get the ball? Shea Adams is trying to get on that side of the pitch to give him an angle. Ward-Prowse, but just couldn't get that pass towards him.
5 minutes remaining in the game. 5 minutes of added time. Can't be long left at Ellen Road either. Jesse Marsh under real pressure. Leeds took the lead against Fulham this afternoon, trailing 2-1. Gabriel plays it towards Nketiah. Tripped by Diallo. Free kick. Long way out, unless Xhaka really wants to try and give it the hammer, but it's over 30 yards out, 35 yards out, in a fairly central position, more likely to stick one in the box.
Well, all the defenders have gone up, haven't they? They've got some height in there. Vieira's over it. Tierney's wide on the left. Is he going to play it short to Tierney, or is he just to try and whip a ball in?
Right, it's gone short to Xhaka. Xhaka's giving it back to Vieira, trying to work an angle for the cross. Cross half deflected. Volleyed away by Edozie. Xhaka again to Vieira. Back to Xhaka, across to Saka, goal at Ellen Road, Chris Coles.
There is hope for Leeds. Crescencio Somerville has got one back in stoppage time. We've just entered 3 minutes of it. We played one. Somerville on as a sub, bursting through, just about getting the touch beyond Leno. It's his first for the club, and Leeds have a little bit of hope. Leeds 2, Fulham 3.
There we go, they're not over at Ellen Road, not over here yet. Throw in for Arsenal on the right. Southampton with some desperate defending in the last 30 seconds or so. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Throw in for Arsenal on the right in an attacking position. Partey takes it. Back to Xhaka. Xhaka across here to Vieira. Ward-Prowse out quickly to meet. Oh, Vieira's given it away. Can Southampton counter and win the game? Walcott inside his own half, plays it to Ward-Prowse. He almost stumbled, looks for the back heel. It was never on. Arsenal have won it back. Suddenly they're on the attack. Here's Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu to Saka. Now he's given it away to Shea Adams, and Southampton come on the counter. Samuel Edozie, the young striker, is running at Saliba, trying to play in Adams. Gabriel comes across. Adams gets there first, holds onto it for Southampton. Flicks it back to Edozie. Edozie dummies a shot with his right foot. Chip cross. Nice idea to El Yunusi. Heads it back in towards Walcott. Arsenal deal with it and volleyed away in the end by Gabriel Jesus in the left back position. Ball bounces inside the Southampton half. And Nketiah chases. Might be a foul on Lianco, that. It is. Full time at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
Dominant from Leicester. Miserable for Wolves. Leicester 4-0 winners at Molineux. Tielemans' goal, the pick of the bunch. Leicester back-to-back wins. On the flip side, just goal difference, keeping Wolves off the bottom. Wolves 0, Leicester 4.
Lianco booked for a little bit of a tussle after the challenge from Eddie and Nketiah. It's a thrilling finish, Steve Sidwell.
Great finish, isn't it? You know, the sloppy play from both teams in terms of turning over from possession. I think it was literally 3 or 4 times in the space of 5 seconds from both sets, but both teams trying to get all 3 points here.
Lianco was a silly boy there, got booked. He picked himself up and without thinking just flicked his head to his right. Had he been closer to Eddie and Nketiah there and even come remotely close to making contact, that would have been a straight red card. Goes in the book for the reaction. Free kick for Southampton into the edge of the Arsenal box, headed away by Saliba. 2 minutes to play. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Still playing at Ellen Road. Leeds 2, Fulham 2. Salisu clears. Flick on Edozie. He's done well since coming on.
Really well. Another one from the conveyor belt out of South London. You see lots of them now. He's been superb when he's come on. Made a real impact.
Xhaka up towards Jesus. Back to Xhaka. Across to Partey inside the Southampton half. Another tired pass, and then Shea Adams is definitely tripped by Xhaka. Tired challenge from Xhaka as well, running out. No surprise the schedule these players are trying to keep this season.
Yeah, especially the Arsenal players. They look absolutely shattered, worn off their feet. Even Southampton, when they get the ball and even the fans are urging them to get forward, they look very, very tired in the attack as well. So don't see this one going out for a team winning this at the moment.
Minute to go, probably a safe bet, but you never know. 1-1. Granit Xhaka giving Arsenal the early lead. Stuart Armstrong with the equaliser. A goal well worth watching on Match of the Day 2. In fact, both this evening, 10:30 BBC 1. Long clearance from Bazunu out for a throw-in to Arsenal. Jesus in that left-back position again. They're not going to win it if he's back there. He needs to get forward. Thrown back to Gabriel. 40 seconds to play. Gabriel drives it long, and Nketiah chases. Lianco's got it covered. Bazunu to the edge of his box, heads it away, and Nketiah's momentum takes him into Bazunu, and Nketiah stays down. The ball's gone out for an Arsenal throw. It's not a free kick, and we're in the closing stages of this game, and Nketiah picks himself to his feet. Throw in Arsenal, last chance of the game. Southampton looking to make it 3 unbeaten. Had the win against Bournemouth in midweek. Before that, it was the 1-1 draw against West Ham, and have fought well back in the second half this afternoon. Arsenal packing the Southampton penalty area for the long throw. They've got to take this soon because time is running out. My stopwatch tells me we've played the 5 minutes of added time. In it comes, long one into the near post. Flicked on, behind, goal kick, all over. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Arsenal, a first draw of the season for the league leaders, had the lead, couldn't quite hold on, and at the end did look a little bit jaded. Steve Sidwell.
Yeah, definitely tired there towards the end, Arsenal, and in general, I think if you're looking at possession-based, Arsenal probably deserved it in the chances that they created. The one bright spark from Southampton got them with a chance, and they scored that chance as well, so they'll be happy with that. They'll be happy with the point. They can take that now and go into the next game. But a good result for Southampton especially.
And on the full-time whistle, rain comes drumming from dark skies above. Southampton with the fight back this afternoon. First draw of the season for Arsenal, so Manchester City certainly in the chase of them will be pleased. Arsenal on 28 points after 11 games. Manchester City on 26. It's finished here. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1.